Hello, and welcome back to Xpwaste, where the only thing hotter than our takes are unbuttoned shirts. Hi, I'm Oxie.
And I'm Michael. If this is your first time tuning in Xpwaste, Oxie does have an unbuttoned shirt. It's pretty normal. And we are a old school Runescape podcast. We are both of those things at the same time. We will talk about the news. We'll talk about things happening in the game. We'll give you some tips and tricks. We'll give you some advice. Maybe we'll be your two, silly uncles that sometimes give you silly advice. Who knows? But that's us. We're Xpwaste. You can tell that none of that is ever going to be scripted. So if that was a little awkward, that's just a little taste of what you get.
Thank God we've only
Xpwaste.
done this like 140 times.
I know,
else
right?
That would have been real awkward.
It's just like a thing that I don't ever think about what I'm going to say, and it just whatever comes out comes out. I think
it's not true, Michael.
It's all natural.
So not true.
Well, if that part was like uber scripted, it would sound more cringe than just kind of rambling. I like the rambly part. So if you're not new around here, welcome back. We're gonna ramble a bit. I'm hangry. Oxy's tired. It's Sunday night, and usually we record bright and early. Sunday midday.
Bright and early at like 1 o'clock.
Yeah, because you sleep into like 11:30.
No, that ain't how this works. Mr. Oh, well, I have a child, and my child dictates our recording schedule.
Yeah. Okay, so if
Oxy
I didn't have a
sleeps in
child,
too late.
what time would you want to record the podcast?
Fucking 10 o'clock in the morning.
Your time or my time?
My time. 10 o'clock in the
10
morning, my time.
a.m. in Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
That would be nice, I guess. Like, I wouldn't get to sleep in much because that's 9 o'clock for me.
I mean, I'd still be awake at that time before 10 a.m.
Mm.
Man's out here acting like I'm a fucking 22-year-old jobless degenerate.
I don't know what your life
Right?
is like.
Bro, I just had 2 back-to-back days of drinking and naturally woke up at 8 a.m. both days.
Oh.
So,
Well, I guess that we can get into how your week has been.
My week's been good, man. I spent the weekend at a dad chiller party for my IRL best friend. We went up north to the Traverse City area and had a weekend of just American men spending time together. It was up North Michigan. It was a good time. Yeah, Tiki says not a 22-year-old degen, 2 straight days of drinking. 2 straight days of drinking at this point in my life is like, holy shit. Oxy had like 5 beers over the course of 12 hours and a couple mixed drinks, and he took a pull before dinner just for fun. Wow. That's crazy. He's getting lit. I do not partake in the substances like I used to. I never did drugs and I never smoked. Not because I never wanted to, because I'm an overweight asthmatic and I was always worried that smoking weed would kill me. So I just never did. But I don't drink like I used to in college because it takes me about a week to recover. And I also get really sleepy. That's my like drunk trait. I'll like turn on like Midnight City and start like dancing in the kitchen like do and I'll just go to bed at like 10 o'clock. Like that's what happens when I get drunk. Like it's not like a rager party animal kind of guy. But so yeah, that was my weekend. It was fun. I had a dad chiller party for my best friend. It was a really good weekend. I gotta text his wife and thank her again for helping set the whole thing up. And by helping set the whole thing up, I mean do 99% of the legwork and then put me in charge of like making dinner for everyone. It was a great time. In game though, I am actually kind of disappointed. So on Tuesday, I had a remote day and I had nothing to do. I think I sent a message to the team search chat and I was like, I need 2 brave souls to accompany me into the volcano for a good 5-hour session. And people were ready. They were like reporting for duty. Let's get her going. Tuesday, the name change issue happened last week where like anyone could change their name to whatever they wanted. And there was rumors and talks of like rollbacks for the whole day. So I think I did about 15K's worth of mining XP until that system shutdown happened at about like 11 a.m. our time. And then I just didn't play. Because I was like, if I spend 5 hours at Volcanic Mine and it gets rolled back because that's the only way to fix it, I'm not maxing. Like, it's just that's how dire the situation is. So I didn't get any progress done on Tuesday. I instead bought Helldivers, which I've wanted to buy for a while. And it was really frustrating to start. I was missing like a C++ file and could not start the game for like an hour. So that was strike number 1. Strike number 2, my very first mission, I dropped in against the bots and the shuttle wouldn't land properly. So the shuttle was like hovering above the LZ. The people who play Helldivers know it was hovering above the LZ and I couldn't board it for like 10 minutes. Had to leave the game. Second game I ever played, Submediant joins me. His destroyer pops in. We're chatting and whatever. I changed my settings from open mic to push to talk. Game crashes as soon as I hit apply. I was so close to refunding Helldivers 2 the first day I played it because it was so terrible. It was terrible. I've since played a little bit more of it, and it's actually a ton of fun. It's a really, really fun game to play with other people. It's cool that you can like see the progress you're making on the planets and all that. I am enjoying Helldivers, but I didn't get to play over the weekend. And then at work this week, it was spring break for my university. So I had a staggering 3 sessions all week long. So all the time I spent in the office, I was just mining. I was mining and sitting on TikTok. So I am currently about a third of the way through 97. I'm sitting at 677K till 98. And then I basically have 99. So I did not get it before February. I really thought we were going to make like a valiant push Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But it just didn't shake out that way. Unfortunately, I didn't get nearly as much VM as I wanted. That said, we have been doing a little bit more VM here and there. What else did I do this week? I don't think I did. Did I do any raids? I don't remember. What did I do last weekend, Michael? Did I do raids last weekend?
I can't remember.
Bro, I got a text. What day was it? I was driving. It was on Friday. I was driving up north and I was talking to a couple of friends in VC. And I got a text notification from Michael that said Tob ? With a GIF afterwards. And then the next message was or small team next ? With another GIF. My first response was, guys, I think Michael got hacked. Genuinely, I'm like, I think Michael's shit got compromised and I'm being lured. Like, that's literally what I thought right now. They're like, ask a question only Michael would know. I was like, what's the name of the place we got tacos when we first touched down in Fort Worth? What's the name of the fucking place? But I wasn't typing. I was wasn't driving. I got back and I was like, haha, I'm out of town that weekend. And this is going to shift into what Michael did. He sent me a picture back. It was just like a smiley face with him in like a 4-man next team. I was like, what the hell have you been getting up to? So how has your week been, Mr. PVM extraordinaire?
Well, I guess if my week starts on Friday, yeah, I did some PVM. Before that, it's pretty much just been like AFKing while at work. We're a little slower now. Not as slow as we will be in the next couple of weeks, but it's been slowing down enough where I feel like I can get back into the old routine of like work and escape and still be, efficient while I'm working. Because it really does help me. I think sometimes when I'm a little like ADHD brain, I don't know where to focus. Playing OSRS kind of grounds me, and I can focus more. I just have like something consistent to like, if I'm just chopping teaks, whatever, I just look over, click the tree again, or drop all of it, whatever. So I've been doing Slayer actually. So right now on the group Iron Man, I am 71k till 85 Slayer. And I can get the rest of the boys whips for free. And that's the groupie gains. I'm looking, I have that plugin where it shows you all of the skills that you're close to the level. Like it turns green just underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm 42k I'm 42k away from 96 strength. I'm 10k away from 80 woodcutting. I am 2k 2k away from a crafting level. So I have a couple total levels just kind of banked right now. But yeah, I've been doing Slayer, and I want to just keep doing Slayer because it's fairly mindless. And right now in this interim period where I feel a bit lost on the group Iron Man of what I really want to focus on, Slayer is a good constant for me to go back to because there's enough variety in the tasks that I don't get too bored. And then every single task is moving towards a goal of being bingo ready on this account. And
when in doubt, guess I'll slay.
Yeah. So it's pretty easy. Once I hit 85, obviously it's 2 more levels till I can work my way into getting a trident instead of a warp scepter. Because I think based on my magic level, which is 88, I am in the range where a trident is better than a warp scepter. I'm not sure. I haven't done the DPS calculations. It's either an Iban's staff is better or the trident is better.
I say
either
sack
way,
up and go to top. Do a Sang staff skip.
Sang staff skip. Well, I guess that kind of leads me into. I'll finish my thought. I want to be bingo ready, so when in doubt, slay it out. If I can get whips for everybody, I think that would be fun. And 2 more levels till I can kill Kraken. And then from there, I don't know, maybe just work on some diaries. I did get a really strong urge to go to Pyramid Plunder nonstop until I get a scepter. Because for me, the thing that often keeps me from wanting to do Slayer is not being able to switch my spell books quickly. And so I have a lunar teleport in my house. I can teleport to Arceus Mine pretty quickly, but the one that takes the most time and is the most annoying is getting ancients. So Tiki in the recording booth says the Camulet, but I guess I never looked into it. But if the Camulet is not an option, which I'm not sure, I think it's a quest item, I would need to get a trident. Because currently
it's an Akra's Lament.
Sorry, a scepter.
You've almost certainly done it.
Probably. Let me see. Anakra's Lament. Yeah, I had to do that for the TOA quest.
I think it's a BCS requirement.
Oh, sweet. Well, then I have the ability to get a Camulet. I guess I'll look into that. Anyway, before I knew about the Camulet, my plan was to go to Pyramid Plunder for the scepter. And then from there, I would train my construction to get an occult altar in the house so that if I'm online, everybody can use it. It's not just tied to hey, can you put the scepter in the shared? Because I think you would have to uncharge it. Then it becomes tradable. And then that's just a process. So if I make the occult altar, at least in the house, if I'm online, which I'm online quite a bit, everybody could use it. So I might be going to Pyramid Plunder in the next few weeks just to get a scepter because it would make Slayer a lot less annoying. Because I'll tell you my route. Here's my route. Okay, I don't have the Desert Hard Diary, which I think I have all the requirements for it, but I don't have it. So when I teleport to Alcarid, I have to run north out of the castle or out of the little whatever the wherever you teleport into.
Yeah.
I run north and I go by the bank and then I go down to the ferry. Ferry takes you to Temporos. I run out of Temporos. I bring 5 GP and I get a Shanty Pass ticket and I go out of Temporos straight up to the pyramid. and then I run into the
Mhm.
pyramid. And that takes probably a good 2 to 3 minutes. That's annoying. And that stops me from being like, oh, this Necreals task, I could do it, but do I want to do it? No, I don't want to do this Necreals task. Skip. And then that's like, that feels bad because Necreals are really good for Slayer XP. I did a Necreals task and I got like 75k Slayer XP. It's bonkers how good that is with a bracelet of slaughter. Anyway,
They do go burr.
does go burr. Tob, I got an itch and I wanted to scratch it with one of my best friends, but he was unavailable. And so put in the old team search. And it was me, Fear, Nate, Cloud, and Roskin, I think. And we started at Nex. And it's so funny. They're like, Michael, why, like, what's this urge? Like, what's with you wanting to go to Next all of a sudden? I'm like,
Hacked.
honestly, if I'm being completely honest, it's so I can know something that Oxie doesn't know. Because if there's one thing Oxie doesn't do, it's small team Next. And if I know how to do it, it just feels good. Because he doesn't know. And maybe I can teach him.
I've done small team next before. I just haven't had the gear to do it, so I don't.
Yeah, I did get loaned a
But I don't do
ZCB
it.
from Fear and a
Were you wearing an armadillo helmet in the picture that you sent me?
No, I was wearing a Nezi.
Okay,
So I
that's
had
way more acceptable. I thought you were rocking up in full armor. I'm like, Michael, dog.
No, I want to get full Missouri, but I don't like unless I go to Nex and I get my own ZCB, I don't really have anything to use it with because I don't have a T-bow. So I mean I have a 1.6 bill bank. So if I sold everything on my main, I still could not afford a T-bow. So
T-bow is ridiculous right now. Oh, is it still 1.7?
Yeah, something like that.
Twisted. Bro, we have 1.66 right now.
Yeah, I don't think I could even record it. Fear Garden in the recording view says a week of Nex easily fixes that. That's true. I mean, if I wanted to play every single night, I probably could afford a T-bow. Which like small team Nex is not that bad. Not as bad as I thought. It's a little bit more mechanic heavy than a mass, but I think I was I think I was being carried, number one. And I think I was pretty e-girling it as far as like actually learning the mechanics because I was range camping and there's people with fangs and like, you know, interacting with the mechanics. Basically, I was like,
you use the fang
following them around.
break people out of the ice, I'm pretty sure, and then you also kill the blood reavers with it. I'm pretty sure. You can melee next too at some points. I don't know if you melee next throughout the fight or you just do it like the final phase when she's not praying the reflect melee.
Mm-hmm.
The only time I think I ever did small team next, I did it in a trio. I got the next trio task. And then I struggled so hard with that. Jesse was like, "You want to bang out next duo?" I'm like, "No, I don't think I do. I am not feeling that shit because that sucks."
Yo, speak of the devil, I just got a 245 neck reels task. Wow. Okay, well, I guess I gotta go switch my spellbook. But so
maybe we slay.
We did 7? No. Yeah, 7 KC at Nex, and I died once. I think I died once, which is not bad. Like
how much
Cloudwind,
Tob did you do?
Okay, so I'm getting to that.
I'm so excited.
Cloudwind's like, yeah, even I die, and he has a lot of Nex KC.
Mm-hmm.
It happens to the best of us. But it's basically, in my humble opinion, Nex is it's basically like mass, but you have to pay attention just a little bit more because in a mass you're just following everybody around, and like when there's, you know, you switch your prayer once and then you kill the blood reavers and then you basically just shoot her until she's dead. But like there's mechanics with Nex where like if you're the farthest person away, she's going to aggro you. There's times where you have to get real close and attack her, but then she does this ice wall thing, so you have to step back. Yeah, it's interesting.
Contain this, bitch.
Contain this, yeah, yep. So I'm keen to do more next. It sounds like a lot of fun. But then I was like, I still want to do Tob. So the 5 of us that were at next went and did Tob. And we did 2 KC, I think. One and a half KC. Can't remember. Yeah, there was mic issues. Yeah, dude, like you can't see now, but I'm trying to get us switched over to XLR inputs on these microphones because this USB is dog shit. I don't know why on a microphone that was released recently, like within the last 3 years, is not USB-C. But if there's anybody from Shure that's listening, put USB-C on these microphones. Like,
this cord is crusty.
It's bad. Like if you Google it, there's people that says like their fix for it is they zip tie the microphone or they zip tie the cord to the stand and then they put super glue on the actual cord and they just super glue it in. Like I don't want to super glue my cord to my microphone. That's janky. What if I have to take it out?
It's crusty. Yeah, no, it's bad.
Like if you just wiggle it, sometimes it turns off. So we want to update to XLR, but then I'm having trouble with the XLR interface. And so, yeah, there was a bunch of microphone issues. Like my microphone would just stop working. And I'd have to restart my computer or unplug and plug back in. It was annoying. So we could have done a lot more next had my microphone worked. But that gets me to Tob. So 1.5 KC, it was going great until I was chosen first to run the maze at Soda's Egg. And I PK'd everyone.
Gonna start us off with some L movement. What did you do to kill everyone? You tried to do L movement.
I think I was trying to do L's, and
Michael.
Yeah, misclicked or something. I don't know. But Sphere Garden sent me a website that lets you practice random mazes.
Soda Seg Trainer,
yeah. So I'm going to try and do that some more. And when in doubt, just run straight lines. Like it's not going to kill people if you run straight lines. So until I can practice
straight lines through the maze, not booking it with redemption on spam and bruise to get through the maze.
Yeah,
straight lines through the maze, not running L's on the red as a beginner maze runner.
Absolutely,
that's what he means.
Oh, Nate with the picture.
Bro, Nate's got the picture. They're all DD'd and they're all dead on the same tile.
That's hilarious.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's bad. I didn't know it killed you that quickly. I thought there was at least a little bit of grace. But again, I guess,
why is the thing backwards? Huh? Why is there... Hold on, Michael. Why?
Huh?
What happened here?
What thing?
So they're on like 5 or 6 rows away from Soda Steg. And the red thing that you're clicking on is a row behind them.
I don't know.
Where were you going?
I have no idea.
Oh my God.
I panicked. I panicked so hard.
Oh my God.
So I PK'd everybody and we're like, okay, we're going to run it back. So we ran it back. The second time I was not chosen for the maze, so it was fine. I have all of the rooms down. I can do all of the rooms pretty flawlessly as an e-girl roll, except for Verzik. I died to a pillar. End of P1. End of P1, there was the front 2 pillars were down. And I had ran to the back pillar because I think Fear was like, run to the pillar. So I ran to the pillar. I didn't realize it was going down. I wasn't, I didn't have full health. So it got me. I think, I think had I not died to the pillar, I could have at least made it through P2. I think I could have done P2. I probably could have done P3 as well. I did about 17 KC at Tob in leagues, but that was also with like unlimited Karambwans. So it's a different game, But like I had a lot of brews left. I didn't have to buy any brews from the store. So yeah, we'll definitely send another one and see how it goes. Set more than one actually, because if we get to the point where Michael is ready to do bingo on the Group Ironman, maybe I'll do Tob on the Group Ironman during bingo. That would be kind of fun. Who knows? Maybe
we'll
I'll
go
do
tonight.
sing.
Me, you, fear Nate. We'll go tonight.
You don't realize,
We'll go
but
right after this.
tonight is we still have a couple hours of this, and then work tomorrow. Maybe we'll do one. I might be able to have time to do one. You gotta keep me motivated here. You guys can't hear, but Oxie just played a little sound.
Don't you worry, baby girl. We'll keep you motivated. We'll go down to general chat and we'll stream it for everybody. How's that sound?
That sounds like a nightmare, but sounds like a nightmare. And then that was Friday, and then last night was Saturday night, and there has been nothing but Callisto happening in TNL for like the last week, and it has been amazing.
Bro, they buffed the drops over there now.
I have no. Did they? Oh, did they really?
Like, yeah, if you're like top 10, you get 25% better loot instead of 15% better loot.
Ooh.
So people are making shitloads of money out there. It's like really good, consistent GP.
That's
in
good.
The deep worldy stuff.
Yeah.
And Callisto is the only one of the bosses that doesn't suck to bring like 30 people to. Because the other two spawn, like Vedion and Venenatus spawn minions that scale with the amount of players that are in the instance.
Yeah.
So like if you bring 10 people to Venenatus, the little spiderlings that like drain prayer, dem bitches, what's it called? They'll just you up real quick.
Not a good time, huh?
No.
So Callisto's I was playing Saturday night on the group Ironman. I logged in and I was doing Slayer. So I'm going out, slay it out. And I got a Jad task. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this Jad task. It took me, I kid you not, like probably 2 hours. But I took 2 breaks during the task. I logged out for a pretty good amount of time during the task. And when I was done, they were still at Callisto. And so I rolled up on the main account. I only had to run away from PKR once, I think. But the funny thing is, like, they're doing Callisto masses, and it's all free for all. Nobody's splitting, which is fine. But like earlier today, I saw they literally got a back-to-back hilt for 2 different people. It's busted. They're 43 mil each. So I didn't see anything, which is fine. But if they're gonna keep doing this, I might send some more Callisto this week because it was pretty fun. You can roll up in like literally like the cheapest gear and still get KC, at least with my level. If you have more than 10 people, the top 10 people are if you have more than 10 people, only 10 people get loot. So it feels kind of bad if you're in a big mass like that.
Is it only 10 people get loot, or is it
after 10, it goes to the top 10 people with the most DPS get loot. So if you have 10 or less, everybody gets loot. If like there's 11 people,
I did not think that's how that worked.
One person is not getting loot.
I did not think that's how that worked, but
apparently it works like that. Because there was people last night where there was 10 of us, and then another person came in, or at least there was a bunch of us, and then a rando came in, and there were people saying that after the rando came in, they stopped getting their loot.
Kill him. Listen to me, TNL bear huggers.
Oh, they were killing him.
Kill them. When a rando comes in, kill them. Also, there is a tile on, I want to say it's the southeast corner. It could be any tile. Make sure it's towards the door, right? Mark that tile. Agree with your boys. Mark the tile, and then as soon as a PKer comes in, don't run. DD on the tile. Because if the PKer's dumb enough to chuck a barrage out, it's 9v1 versus the bear. So it's chaos. We had it in our last bingo that I did. We DD'd, and this guy like brain lagged for a second. And he's like, huh? And then someone took one step out and he barraged them and barraged the pile. And we were like, that was a mistake. And we fucked this guy up.
Oh, because they wouldn't skull then. If he attacked everyone.
We didn't skull. He attacked everyone. We didn't skull, but we also weren't managing Callisto. So I think myself and 2 other people died to Callisto.
Oh no.
Because he just walked up and like stomped on us.
Yeah.
While we were killing this dude. I lost my loot key. It was like a 1.2 mil loot key from this absolute shitter PK or two.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, if a rando comes in, just kill him. Doesn't matter. Just kill him.
That's hilarious. So
make sure you have someone to panic trade your anguish just in case. Exactly.
We didn't kill him. We let Callisto kill him because the way that they're doing it right now is they have one person freezing
Mage
the boss.
tank?
Yeah, they have one person freezing, and so whoever was freezing that time they just stopped and they kind of lured Callisto over to the rando, and he got stacked out. He got like 50 and then a 24 or something. It's pretty funny. But yeah, that your tactic could also work really well to just eliminate the threat.
It's mainly for PKers because they're either gonna leave you alone or they're gonna be stupid.
Yeah.
And get themselves killed.
Sure.
Like that's the solution. As long as your major is at least a little bit focused on Callisto, you're chilling.
Nice.
If you DD on the same tile.
Nice.
And it's a lot of fun when the PK does make the mistake. Because you could just absolutely gang up on this poor soul. Beat the dog shit out of him right there in front of the boys.
I think if I had less risk, because I was bringing like my occult and my cursed scepter and
they stuck you on mage tank?
No, I think it was Doc. Doc was on mage tank, but I just copied Doc's gear, so maybe that was my mistake. Maybe that was
generally if you're not mage tank, if you're like backup freeze is good for Callisto just in case, but it's also really nice to do web weaver there. So I do web weaver, anguish, suffering. Usually those are my 3 risk items. But I might start dropping suffering just in case.
Well, I was going to say, if I was taking less risk, I might bring my Void Waker for a cheeky little spec before I run out if I end up getting attacked.
Mm-mm.
No?
No.
You wouldn't risk it?
So, I wouldn't want to get that close to Callisto to Void Waker spec.
Not Callisto, the PKer.
The PKers don't usually travel by themselves. Is the only other issue with the Void Waker.
Maybe, yeah.
Is like you might be able to Void Waker spec 1 or 2 of them, but when you're that deep out there, you kind of just want to
teams. Yeah, true.
Yeah, like it's usually how it goes. Is they've got like a couple of scouts. There's a way to exit the peace sign shaped cave when you get out the escape caves. There's a way that you can escape and get right into like single combat.
Oh,
which is pretty convenient. So
gotta look that up. I don't know. I just follow people. Whenever we had to escape, I just ran out, followed people. But I think that was my week. I didn't play much during the week because I was editing, and then the weekend came and I did some PVM, and I wasn't hacked. I was not hacked.
I thought Michael was hacked.
It's fine.
I thought Michael was hacked and like on every platform and about to lure me. I'm not gonna lie.
You literally thought that? You actually thought that?
Dude, I was in VC. It was like me, Arionic, Submedian, a few other folks. I think Nate Dogg was in the VC too. I think that's why Nate Dogg actually hopped over.
Oh.
Because he heard that you had messaged me. And I'm like, dude, Michael just asked me to go to Tom. And I'm like, I don't think this is real. They're like, yeah, he was hacked. Like 100% he was hacked. I'm like, you gotta ask him a question. Like it's like an evil Michael clone. Again, where do we go to get tacos when I first touched down in Fort Worth?
I know, but I'm not going to say that because like we can't use that as our safe question.
Exactly.
I know, but I don't want everybody else to know.
Exactly. How many outfit changes did we do when we got our pictures taken? Exactly.
Enough.
It's IRL security questions. What kind of pizza did we have the day of episode 99 when you and I were absolutely fucking schmammered drunk?
I also know that one. Yeah. There's some good questions.
30-minute break while live.
Wait, was that in the episode?
Are we doing that? Are we doing that soon? No. I mean, it wasn't. But like, we were live on Twitch for that, and we're just like, we will BRB. But we didn't end the stream. We just got up and walked away for like half an hour.
Oh, yeah. Next week is our 3-year anniversary for this podcast and us dating, so we have to figure something out.
Exactly. His wife's about to find out about his dating too. That's gonna be
it's
real
crazy.
fun. It's gonna be the highlight of the episode.
Kind of awkward, you know.
Not
IRL
really.
security questions. Exactly.
Truly.
But no, I was not.
But
hacked.
yeah,
just
ask us questions. Yeah, send us some stuff.
Oh sure, yeah. We'll post about it in the Xpwaste chat.
Yeah, by the time this episode comes out, you only got a couple of days. Are we going to do a recording booth chat? Are we going to do streaming on Twitch like we did for episode 99? We don't know. We have not thought that far ahead. We might have a plan the day this episode comes out, but you will know when you know this upcoming Sunday.
Sunday,
because we don't know right now.
10th, right? Sunday the 10th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because we're gonna be potty training my son that week, so we may have to do an evening recording just because I want to go as long as we can go. No, maybe not. I don't know,
bro. An evening recording on a Sunday. If we're trying to get the man, the myth, the mug himself involved and send us a list of things to drink and make properly, we're gonna be shwasted.
No, I think that's
on a Sunday night.
I don't want to be shwasted on a Sunday midday, like noon on a Sunday, shwasted for the rest of the day.
Dude, that's like perfect. That's perfect shwasted time relative to like 10 o'clock before you gotta go to work the next day.
I'm off.
That sounds
the next
terrible.
day.
Man,
I'm off the next day.
Fucking rat. I'm not. I'm so busy this week.
You should call out
it's
that.
Not even
You
funny.
should call out that day.
Listen, I like this job too much to willy-nilly call out because I'm hungover. If I even get hungover, because you know me, I'll have like one big drink, get a little like woo, and then just want to go to bed.
I think less of your hungover, but more of like we'll probably end up staying up till like midnight. Sleep in a little bit next
Oh,
day.
not midnight. Ooh.
Not midnight.
Oh, not midnight. Oh my god.
But yeah, we're having a 3-year anniversary celebration. TBD on the details. You'll know when you know. So
yeah.
We're talking about something today. You guys have seen the title of the episode and you're eagerly awaiting.
If I can make if the title of this episode is what I want it to be, it's going to be a hell of a lot more condescending.
Ooh, okay.
It's the title of the episode is going to be called "What Makes You So Special." It's one of my favorite questions to ask as a therapist, but it has nothing to do with therapy today. Actually, thankfully, because if there's one thing I don't want to do, it's my job with you guys. So this week, someone, I think it was Chaos Cleric, is like, "Yo, do like a special attack weapon breakdown episode." And that's a big old can of worms.
Yeah.
I gotta level with you boys. It's a big old can of worms to get into every single special attack weapon in the game. But we're gonna get into a lot of them. Because I kind of thought, I'm like, dude, what if we just did every single one? Like, what if we did all like a million spec weapons or a million specs that there are? We talk about the rune claws and like the dragon sword and the Dawnbringer and shit. And like, I really had to sit down and be like, we have to think of like the practicality of some of these special attack weapons. Like, I think pretty much all that we have on here right now are weapons that you guys will use in at least one scenario consistently, right? It's not like the Vesta's spear where you like Darth Maul spin it around or anything like that. We didn't include anything like that on there.
And it's hyper specific to a one game mode where they're too scared to bring it into the main game too.
I just don't think the other three LMS weapons are like just okay from my understanding.
Yeah.
It's the longsword that's the problem. The longsword makes the Voidwaker look like a fucking play school item. Like the VLS is gross. Like it's really powerful. So if you get one on the first day of Deadman, you can get like 400 mil for it.
Love that.
Yeah. But yeah, we're going over special attack weapons today. It's gonna be a long one. So Michael and I really gotta just sort of, bite the belt and get going here because we got a lot to talk about. We have 3 different categories that we're going to try to go over today. Stat reduction, DPS, and then just miscellaneous bullshit special attacks that are useful. There are a lot of miscellaneous special attacks in this game that are not useful, not prevalent. Did you guys know the Abyssal Whip has a special attack? Do you guys know what it does?
It stops you from running?
I'm pretty sure it just drains like agility or something, or run energy. Whip. Like Abyssal Whip. Give me the Abyssal Whip.
It says energy drain. Deal an attack with 25% increased accuracy that siphons 10% of your target's run energy. So it is an attack. It's a higher damage dealing attack, but it's supposed
just
to
accuracy.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything to increase damage. It
makes
just
you more
increases
accurate,
accuracy.
which gives you a little bit more damage.
That's what it sounds like. I'm gonna try my best to mimic the way these special attacks sound.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
Just for laughs. That one could be fun.
That's a choice.
This is gonna be great.
We're here for it.
But like we're not really like that is not useful. Like we're not gonna touch on shit like that. So miscellaneous but useful in some situations.
You say we're not going to touch on it, but we literally just did.
It's an example of things that we're not going to touch on. So when people go, why didn't we talk about dragon knives?
Oh, sure.
Dragon knives actually kind of. Dragon knives are pretty cool. Like, we don't talk about them necessarily, but dragon knives are kind of awesome. Why don't you kick us off? I have a big ass list that I typed out for Michael.
You did. The first one is probably everybody's. Like, everybody knows what this is, and it's the Dragon Warhammer. One. It's a Dragon Warhammer. If you don't know what the Dragon Warhammer is, I need you to pause the podcast and just get good.
God damn.
Just kidding. I'm a little hangry tonight.
God damn.
I didn't eat dinner. I should have ate dinner, but I didn't have time. So, Dragon Warhammer, everybody has one. Fun fact about the Dragon Warhammer. They used to be like 80 mil back when Shamans were like first announced or first released and Dragon Warhammer first came out. And there was a safe spot that you could safe spot Shamans fairly easily, but it was so heavily botted because it was that easy. And so Reddit had an outcry for many, many, many months. But during those months, I could not get it. Killed thousands of them. I still didn't hit drop rate to get it when I finally got it. But anyway, Dragon Warhammer started at like 80 something mil. Now it's down to what, like 20, 25 to 30 mil, 40 mil? I don't remember. You didn't add any prices on any of these.
Which is something I do want to talk about. So it'll probably be like typing them into Runelight. It's 41 mil right now.
That's actually really good. There was a point in time.
It's kind of back up to like where it was.
Dragon Warhammer was almost cheaper than a BGS. Almost cheaper than a BGS. So the Dragon Warhammer.
Why is that, Michael?
Well, so you see, the Dragon Warhammer reduces 30% of your target's total defense. And that's really good because defense in this game determines how often you hit. So if their defense is very high, it doesn't matter that you're 99 attack with a super strength and super attack potion. You're still not going to hit them as often as you'd like. So if you take down 30% of their total defense, that's like a significant change. You can do math. I'm not even going to do math because there's so many different scenarios where 30% is a lot.
So in general, right, as a brief mathematic example, Dragon Warhammer is better to use when the target has an absurdly high defense. Like, remember Callisto back in the day? That motherfucker had like 450 defense level.
Yeah.
If you look up a monster on the wiki, Forkath, Zulra, Verzik, they all have a little shield stat. Those shield stats are defense level. Defense level is how easy or hard they are to hit. We're going to put that out there right now for the stat reducing weapons. Most enemy defenses are, for range and magic as well, are based on their range and magic level. So if they have a high range level, they have high range defense, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? Their melees are a little bit different, where if they have a weakness to slash, stab, or crush, that's their weakness. Talking specifically about spec reducing weapons. The Dragon Warhammer will reduce 30% of whatever value is remaining. So you start off at 450, a 30% reduction looks something like 135, I think. Is that track? 135? I think.
I don't know. I was avoiding math.
But whatever 450 minus 135, I think that's what? 315? The next attack you do will be 30% of 315. So you're not getting that same... the Dragon Warhammer has diminishing returns. And it's not the only stat reducing special attack weapon that does that. Right? So useful in lots of places. But you can't just like spam it.
Yeah.
You can, but you'll eventually... nothing happens. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. So the place that a lot of people use Dragon Warhammer is in raids. Because there's a lot of times where you got big bosses in raids, and having a bit of a spec to reduce their defense is very helpful. And multiple times there, you'll have people like I was just doing Tob, and like you have to reduce Sodaseg's defense multiple times because sometimes it resets. Another place that's very common is at Corporeal Beast, and that one is a set amount of hits where you usually want to do like 3 or 4 hits. And that gets its defense down low enough. Dragon Warhammer, it's a good item to have. If it's not in your arsenal, either this one or the next one, either get a Dragon Warhammer or a BGS. And so BGS is a little easier to understand because the number that you see when you attack is how much defense you reduced. It's pretty easy. If you
for what, the BGS?
For the BGS. You hit a 40.
Yeah, getting into our next weapon here. Yep.
Yeah, we're just gonna move on past. Did you have any final thoughts about the Dragon Warhammer?
I mean, it's really hard to talk about the Warhammer without the BGS, right?
Sure.
They're the yin and the yang of the stat reduction because the BGS, to give another mathematic example, BGS is better to use if your target only has like 100 defense. Like Vorkath has really low defense. So whereas with 100 defense, a hammer is only going to reduce 30, then it's only going to reduce 21. If a BGS smacks a 70, you just reduced it by 70, right? So the defense reduction or the stat reduction order for the BGS is defense, strength, prayer, attack, magic, and ranged. Usually, people will use the BGS to reduce defense or sometimes reduce the magic level of the opponent. Reducing an opponent's magic level makes it weaker to magic. It also reduces its ability to hit with magic, kind of like its magic accuracy, right? Maiden is a good example of this. You'll dump a couple hammers at Maiden, first room and top, and then you'll dump a couple BGSs afterwards to reduce the magic level. Maiden's still going to beat you like a redheaded stepchild if you're not careful. But she's less likely to hit you. Same thing with Corp. It's part of reducing Corp's stats to make him like a chicken, as it were. The defense is already at 0. And once you follow the chain of command with, hammer, arclight, BGS reduces the magic level. So the BGS will reduce all 6 major combat stats. 7, because it'll also do damage too. BGS also, that bitch hits.
HP. Yeah. Nice.
That bitch will hit, so it will reduce the HP too. That bitch hits.
I do want to add, we're going to be using quite a few acronyms in this list here, and some of them are not the actual name. So I apologize in advance. I will try and clarify whenever necessary. But the BGS stands for Bandos Godsword. And if you didn't know that, again, pause the podcast and get good. And by get good, I mean just go read the wiki. So
for a lot of people, especially coming off of last week's episode, we talked about what to do with 100 mil. Hammers, what? 46, 41 mil?
Something like that.
BGS, Bandos Godsword is 26 mil, right? When you start to dip your toes into player versus monster content, you should have one or both of these weapons, right? It's obviously situationally dependent, right? So one place both of these weapons kind of suck is TOA. TOA, I want to say the the amount that you can lower stats by of the bosses is 20 for most of them. And then it's like 30 or 40 at various phases of wardens. But the hammer is useful. That's why the hammer dropped so much in price when TOA came out. Because unlike Tob, where the hammer is used in 4 of the 6 rooms, 3 of the 6 rooms, you don't use a hammer at Bloat, Nilo, or Verzik. You can use it by accident. Like Fear said earlier, it's a great way to waste 50% special attack at Verzik P1. But the hammer and the BGS don't really shine too well in TOA. They do really well against God Wars dungeon bosses. They do really well against bosses like Vorkef. They are essential for Tob and essential for Chambers. They are very good for some Slayer bosses. BGS, like, if you can't afford a high damage special attack weapon, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, so those tend to be a little bit more expensive, BGS is all reliable. You can take BGS to Cerberus. You can take BGS to Hydra. You can take BGS to I personally wouldn't take it to Thermi, but you can if you want to. Take BGS to the Duke. I don't think you can take BGS to Vardorvis. You can, but I think Vardorvis' stats reduce as you fight him. Someone told me that anyways. I'm not that good at Vard, so I couldn't tell you. BGS good, Hammer good. There are going to be situations where one is better than the other, but you should absolutely strive to have both.
Yeah, because like any defense reduction is better than no defense reduction. If you're not using your special attack for something else, then it's kind of just sitting there wasted, right? So like, if you can get a 40 off on your BGS and say you have another 50% to use, go for it. You'll get that special attack back, and maybe you'll be able to kill the boss easier. A lot of God Wars bosses are better off with less defense. And so having
Zilliana.
No, don't get close to
Zilliana.
BGS. Don't get close to Zilly.
She'll beat the shit out of you.
But, Zami and Bandos for sure. Krill, not so much, but I digress.
Krill does well.
Can you melee Krill?
Isn't he?
Are
you
flying?
Thinking of Kree?
Oh, sorry, Kree.
You're thinking of Kree.
I meant Kree. Yeah.
I was like, huh? No, Krill and Kree. Yeah, just chuck that shit at Kree.
Can you imagine just being able to throw your swords and like it would clank to the ground, but you could pick it up later?
Honestly, I think with 99 range, I should be able to throw a BGS like a javelin.
Yeah. Improvised attack. Man, if more D&D rules were in RuneScape, that'd be fun. There is going to be, whenever the Coliseum comes out, we're going to have a range stat reducing weapon, which will be fun. But that's not on our list.
I don't think we have anything like that. But yeah, let's say you're poor as shit, can't afford either one of those. It's fine. You're going to make the money eventually. Good old Arclight, baby. Arclight is so to trace it back, right? When you do the Demon Slayer quest, you get the silver light weapon. Then when you do the quest, oh god, is it something with a storm? Shadow of the Storm, I think.
Yeah.
You get the Dark Light, which is the arc light just like dyed black or whatever. Once you have the Dark Light, you can take 3 of the shards you get, the ancient shards from the Catacombs of Korend, and you can combine it to make the Arc Light, which is this like superior demon bane weapon. It is ridiculous. It's like a 70% damage and accuracy increase against demons. Like the Arc Light is kind of bonkers. Nice. But it also has a stat reduction special attack. So it's a measly 5% attack, strength, and defense reduction. So it doesn't reduce a lot, but it reduces a little bit. And if it's against a demon, so notably if it's against Krill or if it's against Cerberus, it'll reduce 10%. Fear says the Kyle Arclight tech. We used to have a buddy who is an Iron Man, didn't have a hammer or a BGS, but he had a main and he knew how to do all the content. So he would take Arclight to Tob because that was the best spec weapon he had. He'd take Arclight and spec transfer. Because lowering a little bit of defense is lowering better than no defense. You can use it at Duke too, right? Because Duke is also a demon. This one is useful particularly at Corp because it reduces defense, attack, and strength all at the same time. It's not like the BGS where it goes one, then the other, then the other, then the other, right?
Nice.
You can get a target's attack all the way down to 0% after like 20 Arclight specs. If it's not, it's only useful at Corp for the attack.
Right.
But if you don't have any other choice of spec weapon, you can take the Arclight. And if you get clowned on, tell them it's an Oxie attack and they'll understand why. They might still clown on you, but they'll clown on me more. You know?
Again, any defense reduction is better than no defense reduction. 5%, if they have 400 HP or 400 defense, it's a lot. I'm not going to do math, but that's a lot. So, anything's better than
5% of 400 is 20, Michael. I'm pretty sure.
I don't
want to sound too
so
overconfident.
To do math without my phone. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do
you
percent
talk about
math.
an easy way for Michael and I to get made fun of. It's talk about
it is 20
math on
it is
this
20
show.
But I'm not going to say it out loud. So any defense reduction is better than no defense reduction if you're not using your special attack. And correct me if I'm wrong, Oxie and the community. But when you use the special attack on the Arclight, it does not use charges. I think that is a thing because
bold of you to assume I looked that shit up.
Okay, Fear Garden in the recording booth has confirmed if you're using your special attack with the Arclight, it does not use charges. And that's really nice too, because like you special attack at least, I think it's 20 times during one corp kill. So that's a lot of charges if that actually was, if it actually used charges, but it doesn't. So you can rest assured that your precious charges for all your demon killing are not going to be wasted with your measly 5%. It's a good quality of life. Thank you, Jagger. That's a W. The next one we want to talk about, this one's interesting because I didn't actually learn about this until Group Iron Man. And TMD was like, Bone Daggy? Bone Daggy?
The Bone Daggy, baby.
The Bone Dagger that you get from the Dorgishan quest line can be poisoned, but it can also reduce defense. Interesting. Oxie says it's a cheap BGS, so it'll do things.
So it has the exact same effect as a BGS, with the caveat for both the Bone Dagger and the Bone Crossbow, you have to be the first person to hit the target.
Oh, wow.
If you are the first person to hit the target, you can reduce defense the exact same amount that you deal in damage. So if you deal a 15, you've reduced defense by 15.
Wow.
It's not bad if you're an Iron Man. Please, for the love of God, if you're a main account, please have just a little bit money. Don't bring the Bone Dagger.
Have a little bit money.
Nate jokes and he says any defense reduction is better than no defense reduction. I understand what we have said, but take it from someone who has been titties deep in a rebuild since 2018 when his account started. You think you get made fun of for the Mackie Don's Dragon Boost G? Just wait till you, as a Max Combat Infernal Cape main, break out the motherfucking Bone Daggy at top. You're going to get laughed out of Ersenhaza. I'm warning you right now. If you are down horrendously or you are an Iron Man, what's the difference? Am I right, fellas? The Bone Daggy and the Bone Crossbow will serve their purpose as cheap BGSs. But man. Man.
It's a good time. It's just any defense reduction is better than no defense reduction, except for the Bone Dagger.
And you know what? We'll stand by it. But damn, dude, come on.
Yeah, if you got monies, just maybe borrow a BGS. Listen, I lent out a BGS to somebody probably in a year and a half ago, and I've not gotten it back. So there's a slight chance if I lend you something, you could just keep it. And that's just from me.
That's a terrible, terrible statement to make.
I forgot who I lent it
track
to.
who I give shit to.
I forgot. And they never got back with me on like, hey, did you want your BGS back? I think it was somebody in the community. I really do. But like I messaged in the recording booth chat. I messaged in the Xpwaste chat. I tried my best to get it back, but I just eventually had to buy another one. So that is the bone daggy.
My Zamorakian spear one time, killing Corp with my boy Nate Dogg years ago. I lent it out to him, forgot that I lent it to him, and then like the next bingo, I was like, Nate, I'm pretty sure I gave you a Zami spear. Like I forgot, and he's like, oh yeah, I sold that bitch. I'm like, good man, good man. That's like 6 mil. I don't care, but we got one more stat reducing special attack weapon, and I really wanted to put all of the Revenant weapons together. But you really can't. The Accursed Scepter is our last spec reducing weapon that's relevant that you're going to use. So he had to kind of put it with these. So Michael, what does this stick do? Because you're the one who actually called it out earlier.
I did. Yeah.
When we were talking about spec weapons.
Well, it's kind of cool because I don't know if this was like a rebalancing thing or if this is what it was since the beginning, but the Accursed Scepter, and that's the upgraded one that you get with the Skull of Vedion. Whenever you have a special attack whenever you use its special attack, you'll get a 50% more accuracy and a max hit increase. And this is the cool one. So it gives you 15% magic and defense reduction, but it only works once, which is still good. Again, it's kind of cool because it's not the only one in the game, but it is a ranged defense. Like you don't have to ride up on the boss for it to work. And it's really nice. So if you're going into the wilderness and you are using magic, which some of the wildy bosses do, you'll have a way to reduce magic and defense from afar. And what's the cost? I think that's also something.
It's a 50% special attack, and I want to say the Thamron Scepter is like, not Thamron, the Accursed Scepter. Accursed Scepter, yeah, it's 2.8 mil. So the Accursed Scepter really does go per, and it works outside of the wilderness. So the 3 wilderness weapons, the Web Weaver Bow, the Ursine Chain Mace, and the Accursed Scepter have special attacks that will work outside the wilderness, even though they don't have the increased accuracy and damage. Earlier, Michael mentioned this only works once. It's not that it only works once. And I realize I typed this out poorly, so don't blame Michael for this, blame me. It only works up to 15%. So you can't reduce a target's magic and defense by below 15%. Okay. So I suppose it does. I guess regardless of what you hit, I guess it is correct. And Michael is right. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. I think you are actually right in hindsight. But holy shit, the accuracy and damage increase of this Scepter's special attack is disgusting.
Right. It's like
it is not uncommon for this thing to hit a 50-50 at Zulrah. This thing goes off.
Damn. I didn't even really consider that. So when you reduce Zulrah's magic and defense, is it just that phase, or does the defense reduction carry out through each of the phase changes?
Zulrah's defenses are generally low enough where that doesn't matter a ton. Usually a Cursed Scepter is only really attack at Zulrah if you have a shadow, because you get an extra attack in. So you can dump a spec and then hit with the shadow, and the shadow, it's already going to nuke Zulrah to begin with, but this thing really shines in the wilderness.
Yeah.
Jake in the recording booth chat says it slaps in the wild. It really does. You take this thing against Scorpia, you hit 60s. Take this thing against Callisto, you hit 60s. You take this thing against other players, if someone runs up on you and you're maging something with an Accursed Scepter, if you dump 2 Accursed Scepter specs into them, you could kill them. This thing hits that hard.
Yeah.
The Accursed Scepter is kind of crusty, but it's real good. It's a 50% special attack, 4-tick attack weapon, just like a powered staff would be. It's gross, and it works outside the wilderness, like we said. So you can take this to Whisperer. It's a pretty good place to take it. I've taken it there a couple times. It's helpful, but it's got really nice DPS.
I'm glad when they changed everything in the wilderness that they made this weapon viable, because if you were at Revs and you got the scepter, it was a bad time. But now it at least has a little bit of a price increase, because if I recall correctly, the regular scepter that wasn't upgraded was less than $1 million. If I recall correctly, it was a while ago that this happened, but it was pretty cheap. It was pretty cheap, even with the Accursed Scepter. Like
I don't
said,
think it was
a
a powered staff, though. I think that was
no. Everything's charged with
actually
ether.
Was a powered staff.
It's charged.
I don't
know.
It may have been like a manual cast, though.
Oh no, it was always powered. It was always powered, because like it's like the same as the bow, but it just like it didn't have.
No, January 25th, 2023, Samron Scepter is now a powered staff. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. They just
it's September 22. It's now a powered staff. Why is this update happening twice? That's weird.
Come on, Jagex. Get with it. But it's viable now, and it made our list. Like had the wilderness rework not happened yet, it would definitely not be on the list. But again, it's interesting because you can do it from a ranged point of view. And that was
you can do it from far away.
You do it from far away. Yeah. Is you're not using range. Obviously it's a magic staff, but you can reduce magic and defense. That's it for the stat reduction weapons that we have on our list. If there's another one out there, it probably is not as viable, or it's not as good to not have made our list.
There's things like the barrel chest anchor. You're not going to use that bitch outside of leagues.
What?
Like, you got to be realistic with some of the weapons you're actually going to take some places now. But
the next category we have is good old damage per second. So these are the weapons that will increase your DPS, and there's a lot of them actually. There's a good number of
numbers. Big number go burr.
Yeah, numbers go burr.
You want them numbers to go burr.
Okay, I'm gonna quickly go through this list and count how many I actually have. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 of them, that's more than half. So we're doing good. Michael is doing good. I was gonna buy claws the other night, but I never actually did because I was gonna take them top. Anyway,
claws are the first weapon on the list.
It's the first
best way I can describe dragon claws, and if you've ever used them, you'll know. It's just 4 quick words: swing, 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 swing. I realize I've not done as many noises as I would have liked.
Oh yeah, you said you were going to do that.
Yeah, no, swing, 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 swing. That's dragon claws. It's one of these. It's one of these. Like, it's one of those. You know,
all of the people who can see you, they love that.
Yeah,
that was a great.
They love
podcast.
That. You're damn right they did. So, shut the fuck up. So how the claws work, right? If you don't know, the dragon claws are a 90-ish million raid reward from Chambers,
and that's in gold pieces.
Jesus Christ, yes, it's a 96 million gold piece. Purple reward, purple unique. It's a unique from Chambers. I think it's going to stay on the Chambers drop table too, which is nice with While Gothic Sleeps coming out. They're expensive, but they hit really hard. They're a 4-tick attack weapon, and in general, the formula is 4-2-1-1. So how that works is your max hit. Let's say it's a 50 or a 44. If your max hits a 44, first hit splat will be a 44. The second hit splat will be a 22. Hit splats 3 and 4 will be an 11. Right? So you have potential to hit a lot higher than what your normal max hit would be with Dragon Claws. I think the trade-off is that they're not the most accurate weapon in the game, always. But against monsters with low defense or low slash defense, notably at Tob, for example, you absolutely shred with the claws. Claws are fun as hell. They are arguably my favorite spec weapon in the game. It's hard to argue with swing, 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 you know?
You know, the last time I used
great.
claws, I think you remember. It's when I failed to protect you in the wilderness against Scape, and I couldn't gear fast enough. And we were doing a
It's
bingo.
not that he couldn't gear fast enough. All right, we were doing a wilderness bingo years ago. Hindsight, terrible idea. Never going to do it again. But at the time it worked because there was only like 10 people who were in the clan at the time. This is before Xpwaste. And I was fighting one of the co-leaders of the clan, Scape. And we were locked Anakin and Obi-Wan in multi-combat. We were going off. It was a battle for the ages. Michael rolled in. I don't even know what he did the first time. He may have dumped specs. He may have attacked, but he wasn't there to like bolt rag.
Neive.
I said, Michael, all you got to do is go back to your POH, get special attack back, and teleport with the burning amulet that you have in your inventory back here. Double claw escapes. And we win, and we kill him, and we get the bounty for the 1 mil PK. Because Scape was in
he has like a 9
like
mil
Messiah gear. He was in like, it was like RM's the toxic staff. He had the SERP helm and everything. And it was close. And all Michael needed to do, POH, pool, come back. I'm still waiting on Michael. It's been 2.5 years. I'm still waiting on Michael to come back from that trip.
And that's the last time.
It's a 9-tick cycle of events, and Michael has taken 2.5 years to get it done.
Absolutely. So I'm just kind of like, you know, I don't know what to do with claws. I don't have them, and I don't really do a lot of content that is where claws are necessary, at least right now. So I'm gonna let Oxie take this one, swing it up. Other than what he's already said, is there anything else that's fun about claws?
I mean, you got to use them. If you can't afford them, ask someone who owns them to borrow them. Like go on a Tob, do a nightmare with Dragon Claws, do TOA, do chambers, do I don't care. Do like anything. Do Thermi with claws. If it can get hit with melee, most of the time, claws are going to be really fun to use. Are they going to be the most efficient? Maybe not. Does it matter? No. They're fun. You know, claws at Vorkath are a lot of fun. Sire is so much better with claws. They are very expensive. Very expensive. So I would not really worry about feeling it. It's not necessary to shell out 100 mil on a fun spec weapon until you really start doing Tob. I would argue that that's probably the time when you need to really invest in claws is when the Tob runs start coming on.
Nice. Next up is a weapon that I have used, and that's the Void Waker. I love this weapon.
I have never actually used this weapon.
It goes burr.
I have never held it. I have never borrowed it. I have gotten hit by it several times in the wilderness, but I have never used it.
Interesting. I don't know the nitty gritty of the Void Waker, and like I shouldn't be the one to talk about it, but like
thank God I got it spelled out for you.
Wow.
There.
I'm just gonna read. Okay. So guaranteed hit. First of all, guaranteed hit. That's fun. Guaranteed hit. 50 to 150 of the wielder's melee max hit. 50 max hit with whip is 25 to 75 magic damage. Hit with a Void Waker spec. So
what in the world did any of that
That's a lot
mean?
of words, man. What did that mean? It means that you are going to go burr if you have a Void Waker, because it takes your magic, it takes your max hit, and it gives you 50 to 150% of it.
Tiki says it means it reduces the opponent's health.
Yeah,
You're goddamn right it does. So I'll help Michael out here for a hot second. The Void Waker, its special attack deals magic damage, but it rolls off your melee max hit. So if you're in full Torva, Torture, Prims, Infernal Cape, you got a really high melee max hit. The Void Waker will deal as low as 50%, but as high as 150%. So the example that's on there, if your max hit is 50 with a whip, for example, first of all, you dumpster at enemies if your max hits 50 with a whip. But that means with a Void Waker special attack, it's going to be as low as 25 or as high as a 75 with the guaranteed hit, right? This can change a little bit. That's just a general example. I think this weapon is due for a nerf sometime soon.
Mm-hmm.
About 6 months ago, Void Waker was like 200 mil. Void Waker. How much did you buy your Void Waker for, Michael?
175.
Yeah, that bitch used to be real expensive.
Yeah.
Now it's dropped to, I think, 91 mil.
It's still pretty expensive.
Void Waker's 94 right now, so it's still pretty expensive. It's still useful in a lot of places, especially things that have an inherent weakness to magic. It's a guaranteed hit, right? So it's not like you're ever gonna. With Dragon Claws, you can roll 0-0-0-0 or 0-0-1-1, right?
Feels bad.
I said 4-2-1-1 as an example. There's like 6 different combinations of ways that you can hit, but that's like the max hit potential with Claws. Void Waker, you're just gonna hit the boss.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just how it works, and that's part of the problem. Because Void Waker is loosely based off the Karasi sword from RS3, and it's supposed to be a player versus player weapon. It's not supposed to be a PVM weapon, which is why it's getting nerfed.
You say
because
problem.
It's best in slot.
I say fun.
It's not that it's not fun. It's just the problem with any weapon that is better than everything is it becomes a lot less fun. Because the solution isn't. This game is built very laterally, right? Like if you listen to this podcast and you're newer to the game, you're a mid-game player, you maybe not know all the intricacies yet. Like RS3, a game like World of Warcraft, there's 2 examples of games that are built vertically, right? Everything new that comes out is better than what just came out. World of Warcraft X-Packs are a great example of this. Everything that comes out in the new expansion is more powerful than the previous expansion, right? Destiny does the exact same thing. If you're not an MMO player for other games, they're not going to release a new Destiny DLC where the guns are worse. Your power level is always going to increase. Old school works horizontally, where sometimes we have items that are just better. We have Torva, we have Missouri, we have Ancestral, right? But old school is all about filling niches and expanding that umbrella. Sometimes when in doing that, we get some problem children. We get the toxic blowpipe, who is the best weapon in the game. Not the best range weapon, just the best weapon, period. It's the old, what hole does it go in? That's right, the square hole. But the square hole was the toxic blowpipe for a long time.
Yeah.
I think I made that joke twice in 2 episodes, actually.
Boo.
But what can I say? I'm hysterical. But that's the issue with a weapon like a Void Waker, is because the Void Waker is a guaranteed hit, and you can absolutely dumpster enemies with it. There's no need to take anything else, right? Unless the monster can't be hit with magic, right? There's no point in taking any other weapon besides the Void Waker. And that's a problem for the game, because in order for our ecosystem as players, in order for our economy and our PVM, in order for the way we do PVM in general to continue, there needs to be quote unquote competition among the different weapons. Some monsters need to be weaker to the Dragon Warhammer than they are to the Bandos God Sword. Some monsters need to benefit from the Accursed Scepter stat reduction than they would the BGS. Some monsters need to use claws or, a fang or an AGS or something, right? There has to be some sort of situation. And when you have a weapon like the Void Waker that is not only disgustingly good in PvM, but also like the best KO weapon in the game in PvP. Is she on top of my
Do you see where your cat
closet?
is right now?
This bitch, I cannot stand her sometimes.
She's hella cute though.
There she goes.
That's one way to do it. That is one way to do it.
She done fell. She gonna learn. She done fell.
I think
she
that was
gonna
intentional.
Learn. Oh, 100%. No, she's just disruptive. I'll be sure to zoom in on that in the video too. But the Void Waker is a bit of a problem child, and alongside the Scythe's buff, the Void Waker is almost certainly going to get nerfed at some point. Because I think they've already talked about it. Which is why the price has fallen so much. So, TLDR Void Waker, strong as hell.
I really like it.
But it might not be forever.
It's one of the first times that I've bought something. I bought it for bingo, and I'm like, it's one of the first times I didn't immediately sell it back because I was like, this is a lot of fun. Like, I took it at Seracnus, and you get two specs. It's 50%, and you can almost go like back to back. There's like no real tick delay. So you can Void Waker.
I mean, it's a 4-tick attack weapon, I'm pretty sure. So there is a tick delay.
Doesn't feel like
it's
it.
not a one tick nuke, right? It is
4 ticks is like what, 2.6 seconds? Boom. It feels like it's instant. I may have to test it again.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2.
Human metronome.
2.4. It's 2.4 seconds.
That's what I just said. Anyway.
You said 2.6.
Oh, did I? 2.4. It's a lot of fun.
Those 0.2 seconds are going to get you killed in the Inferno, Michael. Michael, turn the metronome on right now and listen to it for the rest of this podcast.
No, I can't do that.
Now, to everyone who's listening right now, if you're playing at home, turn the metronome plugin on. Learn how the ticks work.
Don't do it.
What do you mean? Don't
turn it on as we're doing the recording.
Like as we're learn how the fundamental clock of this game works. Absolutely, turn the metronome on.
While you're listening to the podcast, just sitting there with your wife and your child, just go bing, 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 bing in the background. It seems like a great time, Oxie. It's a great time. What's the next one? Just do the next two. It seems like a good.
How about you do the next two? Because I had to step in and save you for the Void Waker, and I'm talking too much. So you do the next two.
The next one is the Dragon Dagger S, which there's some lore behind why it's DDS, and I think it's Dagger Super Poison. Okay, why not DDSP? Because Super Poison is 2 words. Anyway, Dragon Dagger, DDS, and the Abyssal Dagger. And you can poison that one too. DDS, all Oxie said is, hey, it's all reliable. And this thing is like older than your mom. And it's still useful in the game. Because you know why? Xing Xing. Dead.
Dragon Dagger old enough to go get a drink.
That's so true.
Dragon Dagger old enough to go buy a box of American Spirits and sit by the water and contemplate life with you. Dragon Dagger's old enough to buy some scratch-off lotto tickets and then come back with a 6-pack and crush it in the backyard. Dragon Dagger's been there since day one, and Dragon Dagger will be here when we all leave. Dragon Dagger's bigger than all, baby.
Dragon Dagger's timeless. And the Abyssal Dagger...
all reliable.
It's DDS, but worse. 15% reduced damage, but it's more accurate. That's news to me, because I thought the Abyssal Dagger was better than the DDS. And maybe that's why the DDS is old reliable, because the Abbey Dagger is not old reliable. You know,
the absolute max you can hit with the Abyssal Dagger is 44-44. With a DDS, it's 50-50 now.
Oh. Well, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I think with the Altor ring bumped it to 50-50. And it's 25% special attack. That was the problem with the Abyssal Dagger. It used to be 50% special attack. But
okay. Yeah, you get a lot of them.
Ooh.
You get 4 times. So you can go shing, 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 shing. And with the blue potion.
Unlike, the blue potion of TOA.
Yeah, blue potion and TOA, you get a lot more of those. I don't know the exact number, but it's a lot. It feels like you're just special attacking forever.
If you have 100% spec, you can get 8, but you'll probably get more because by the time you land your 8th spec with a light bearer, you should get more spec back.
It's crazy.
That said, with the Dragon Claws being 96 mil and the Void Waker being 94 mil, the Dragon Dagger is also going to burn a hole in your wallet.
Small one.
The Dragon Dagger is the DDS Dragon Dagger P++ is 27k. So you can buy like 12 of these bitches and still be able to like break even.
Which you should. You should buy.
I'm not kidding.
You should buy a
when
couple.
I say you should, yeah, especially if you're using for wilderness content. You can take this anywhere you will take a DPS weapon, right? Especially you can take this to Tom. It's not gonna be the best, obviously, but you can take it and it works. At Verzik too. If you're dumping specs when those tornadoes come out, you can DDS spec at Verzik. And it's not like you're going to be wasting anybody's time, right? DDS, that bitch is all reliable. Abyssal Dagger, don't. Just don't. Unless you're really trying to train strength, just don't with the Abyssal Dagger. It's like 4 mil. Don't buy it. Is it that much? How much is the Abyssal Dagger? It's 2.7 mil. Don't do it. It's not worth it.
It's a good weapon to have. And I think, like Oxie said, it'll be here until we're not here. Because what are they going to do? Take it out of the game? I don't think so. There's nothing they can do.
I sure fucking hope they don't. I met one of the guys I met over the weekend. I was telling a story about how you were rooting for the other team at the Tigers game, and I had to like slap you and be like, you got to understand, we are not in Kumbaya, Fort Worth, Texas. We're in Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, right.
You will die. We will kill you
hustle.
if you root against our team. Good hustle, boys. He's out there cheering for the Rays. I'm like, I don't know this guy. Do we want to beat the shit out of him? And everyone's like, you know what? I think we kind of do. But I was telling them that story, and I got to talking about like, you know, how I know you, talking about RuneScape, and one of the guys was like, "Oh, dude, I played a shit ton of RuneScape. I love that. I played RS3 until I just got hacked a lot." I'm like, all right. I showed him my Zulrah tattoo, and he's like, "Oh, that's super cool. I don't recognize that though." I said, "Well, I'm sure you recognize this bad boy." He's like, "That's the fucking dagger." I'm like, "Yep, it is. It do be."
I don't know if it's old reliable in RS3 though. Is it? Any RS3 players, let us know.
It's absolutely not. You can shoot fire out of your ass in RS3. There is no way the Dragon Dagger is at all viable in that game.
That's good.
I already know someone's going to go, actually, Oxie, it's really good at Telos. And I'm going to be fucking like, okay, cool.
Wow, thanks for letting us know.
We ask, and I'm like, ugh, I'm going to be proven wrong.
What is the next one on this list? They're not in any alphabetical order, which I find interesting. But yeah, what do we got up next?
They're in order of like usefulness.
Oh, are they?
Of like
okay.
How not like how realistic is it for players to own these things? Like it's more or less how situationally dependent is some of these things. I would argue the Fang could probably be up a little bit higher if that's the case, but once I did the DDS, I just sort of threw out all.
I love it.
You know,
I love it. Listen, I'm not gonna complain about this list because I have not been home almost all day today. So this is beautiful work. But the next one, I could take it. It's the AGS, the Armadillion.
What's that stand for?
Armadillo Godsword. The Armadillo Godsword. It's a good PK weapon, and I think if you guys have ever seen any sort of like PK video, like from 2014 or 2008
or 2024,
I guess any PK video now, sure.
AGS is still really good for PvP.
It's good. It's good. What does it do? It will hit with 2 times accuracy, 37.5% higher max hit. It's a weird God Sword formula, Oxie says. So
all God Swords follow this, like, all God Swords have like 110% damage or something. The AGS can hit like 125% of that 110%. So you take those numbers and you subtract or you multiply them by like 1.5. It's a weird formula, but it calculates to about 37.5% more damage from the AGS. So that's a little tidbit for you guys. God Swords are fucking weird in how they work with damage. All of them. They're a little weird. But the AGS one in particular, 37.5% damage increase. And it's some big numbers.
yeah. Like in the, I don't want to say, I won't throw out actual numbers, but like it's definitely a KO weapon. If you combo that with like AGS into a Gmaul, you can definitely combo somebody out, and they can't even eat against it. Like maybe you can tick eat it, but good luck. I've never seen that happen. So if you're gonna be PKing, in the sucky part is like, I kind of wish it was more viable in PVM, but I think what you were talking about earlier, where if a weapon is designed for PvP, it's not really going to be balanced enough to use in your everyday life, bossing, because you don't really see people taking it out to like bossing. It's not.
The problem is with the
common.
AGS is how slow it is. That's why it's not useful. The AGS is disgusting. The AGS is a KO weapon, and it has been for 15 years for a reason. AGS, you can hit ridiculously high numbers. You guys know the clip. I hate RuneScape. I hate RuneScape. There's no way you'll hit a 73, right? That's like just like normal PKing. It is 73 against another player, right? That shit hits hard. So the problem with the AGS is how slow it is, because when you have a weapon that's 6 tick that can deal up to 70 something damage, but you have a spec weapon that's 4 tick that can do like 90 damage with Dragon Claws, back to back if you get 2 max hits, right? Dragon Claws, they're just better, right? Now, AGS, Michael mentioned the AGS Gmaul tack. That is, I want to say it's the same tick, or within 2 ticks, you do the AGS special attack, switch to a Granite Maul, which we don't have on this list, and then spec with the Granite Maul. Granite Maul's special attack is weird. Granite Maul's special attack can't be used to open an attack. The Granite Maul special attack, it's you hit and the special attack immediately hits again. So if you can AGS Gmaul, you AGS spec, switch into the Gmaul and spec, all in that short little window period of time, you can hit like hard. Like you get like a big damage stack, and it's really hard to out eat that. So yeah, I don't know how to AGS Gmaul, and it's part of the reason why I didn't bring it up, because I don't know how to do it. Watch a PK video on how to AGS Gmaul. Otherwise, maybe don't bring a Gmaul places, because a Gmaul also has a pretty slow attack speed. I want to say the Gmaul is 6 ticks too. Gmaul is 7 ticks. Damn, that bitch slow. But that's why they're KO weapons, right? Because it shouldn't matter how slow the weapon is. Your opponent is dead. That's why they're PvP weapons. You know what I'm saying?
I do know. And it's outside of my specialty. It's above my pay grade, if you will. Kind of like this next one.
Exactly.
Kind of like this next one. The Zaros God Sword. Otherwise known as not the ZGS, because we already have that.
We have a ZGS and we have an AGS. So the Ancient God Sword and the Zaros God Sword. It's been sort of dropped to like the ZGS, I've heard. The Brits have kind of taken this one over. But the Ancient God Sword hilt, the hilt that's dropped from Nex, this is, unsurprisingly, another PvP weapon. Because they do like to add PvP weapons. If they could add one that isn't broken, that'd be cool. Though I think the Zaros God Sword is in pretty good shape for what it is supposed to do. So the Zaros God Sword, just like every other God Sword, it doubles the accuracy on the hit, gives you a little bit higher of a max hit, but it gives the target what's called a blood sacrifice. So at Nex, for example, when you get hit with this blood sacrifice, you turn red, you have to run away from Nex, or you'll get siphoned. I think it's when she says a siphon will solve this. That's when she turns you red, right? You got to run away or you get hit with magic damage. The same thing applies here. So if you hit a target with this, they have 8 ticks, so like 4 or something seconds. 8 ticks to move 5 tiles away from you. Now, what I don't know, and someone could clarify this in the recording booth chat if you guys use the Zaros God Sword, is whether or not this is 5 tiles away from where you casted it, as it were, or from where you're currently standing. Because if I hit you with this Zaros God Sword spec and you run 5 tiles away, but I'm right on your ass 1 tile away, are you still going to hit the spec? I'm not 100% sure. But you have 8 ticks to move 5 tiles away. Or if you don't do that, notably if you're frozen, it's a guaranteed 25 magic damage hit that also heals the target or also heals the person who did the spec. So this is a very good weapon to use in conjunction with an ice barrage. You freeze the opponent, you hit him with the Zaros God Sword spec, you stand there for 8 ticks, because if you ice barrage them, I think ice barrage is like 32 ticks or something, they're not going anywhere.
Damn.
So you get some healing, they get extra damage dealt to them, and the whole time they get this extra damage stack, you're still bolt ragging them, you're still DDSing them, you're still, ice barraging them, whatever it is. This is a good PvP weapon. I'm not entirely sure how useful this thing is in PvM. Does anyone use this thing in PvM?
Could you even damage? Like, I guess you can still damage something and it not move away from you, but yeah, it's one of those niche things that, like, maybe a meta will emerge. Maybe there is a meta. Somebody's saying
it seems like Solo Tob
Vardorvis, non-Karis high invo Toa. So, like, yeah, it has very niche uses in PvP or in PvM.
You doing high invo Toa without the Karis Partisan of the Sun? Get some help. Yeah, because we're not talking about the Karises. we're not talking about the Karises either, because TOA stinky. And I didn't have the bandwidth to explain what they do. Red Karis is a super slow attack cooldown, but everything takes more damage from your teammates. Yellow Karis trades special attack for basically an ambrosia. Cool. You know everything you need to know about TOA. Go get your Fang kit.
Go get your Fang kit. That's fun.
Speaking of Fang kits, Michael. Speaking of Fang kits.
This one we talked about a lot about last week. So we'll briefly cover it. But for 25% special attack energy, you get a 50% increased accuracy, and it rolls between your minimum.
For what weapon?
For the Fang. Sorry. The Fang of Osmumpton. Osmumpty's Fang.
Old Osmumpty Fang.
You get a 50% increased accuracy hit, and it'll roll between your minimum and your true max hit instead of the reduced max hit, which normally is 15% to 85% without the special attack. So, you're still going to get a minimum hit, but you're always going to get your maximum potential with the special attack, which just feels good because it's 25%. So, like, 4 times every 3 minutes, you get to hit. I think it's 3 minutes for full special attack to come back. But however long it is for your special attack to come back, whether or not you're wielding whether or not you're wielding a light bearer or not, you get to hit real good with the Fang. And it's going to be pretty accurate as well. So Fang good. We talked a lot about it last week. If you have questions about it, refer to last week's episode.
Fang real good.
I'll log it.
Why don't you take these next two, Wildy boy?
Oh, Wildy boy? That's me? I was going to say, Oxie,
Yeah.
you are the range man here. So
It actually also has talked a shit ton this episode.
that's true.
We gotta hear your eloquent voice.
Web Weaver Bow is the next one. I think Oxie had mentioned something about like, here's all the Wildy stuff, but they're here and they're in the DPS category because the Web Weaver will hit 4 times with twice the accuracy at 40% of your max hit for each of the times that you hit, which is pretty good. If it's 4 times in a row, for double the accuracy each time. So it's going to hit hard. And I don't know, like if you're going to be using the Web Weaver bow in the wilderness, you might as well send off a few special attacks because generally, I don't want to speak for anyone, but generally, you're not going to be bringing spec weapons into the wilderness if you're not willing to risk them. One that you could bring is a Void Waker. I guess you could also bring a DDS, but I feel like the Web Weaver bow is going to be just as decent as bringing a DDS. So
we don't need to anymore.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Remember back in the day, we used to have to take the hammer to Callisto and Vedion? God, I hated those old bosses. I hated those two. The old the fucking V-Walk safe spot you had to do for Vedion. Vedion was the worst boss in the game before they reworked it.
I beg to differ.
That shit was so bad.
Old
Vedion
was not bad. It was not
and he
bad.
looked like shit.
I think
too.
you were just
Old Vedion was the worst.
I think you were just like bored by the time, there's nothing mechanically challenging about stand in this spot. Okay, now V-Walk. And you were really close to the 30 line too.
V-Walk, and then you had to stop with that. Then you had to stop V-Walking to kill the dogs. And yeah, you're really close to the 30 line. But you want to know what always happens in between those 6 tiles between level 30 or level 31 and level 30 wilderness? 30 fucking people would log in and be like, what you boys know about a split of 200K this guy's got on him? And they would just dogpile you.
Yeah, because you're in multi.
And if you missed anything, Vedion would be like, hey, what you know about a 60 straight to the dome? I hated old Vedion, and I did 100. God damn it, I did my fair share of old Vedion. Back
That's
before
true.
they reworked the combat achievements and they reduced the KC for all the bosses from Sarachnis up to the Inferno, the elite combat achievement, the only 2 combat achievements for Vedion, Callisto, and Venenatis were KC achievements. And I had
50
like
and 150 or something.
It was 50 and 100. I had like 6 Vedion KC when combat achievements came out. I got 100 KC for the elite combat task, and holy shit, that
Special,
was
like
the
you're doing
worst.
the safe spotting the whole time. Because killing Vedion, face tanking him in normal mechanics was not an option.
Bad.
The only thing worse.
God, the old wilderness bosses were so bad.
Well, okay, you say that, but then you had thousands of Venenatis. I don't understand.
Okay,
it.
I had about 1,200 Venenatis KC pre rework, which I always laugh at because every time we go kill Venenatis for bingo, I'm like, God, I'm so due for a Fang of Venenatis. And I'm like, how many KC do you have? And I'll chuck up like 1,500. They're like, you still don't have a Fang? I'm like, 1,200 were those were like pre-rework when the Fang didn't exist. But yeah, you could safe spot Venenatis by breaking her. And I did that a lot. I took advantage of that safe spot, quote unquote, and broke her. You want to know what would happen if the safe spot didn't work? You had like a 30% survival rate.
That's true.
I've bitched about it before. Venenatis had a variable attack speed, which meant that she could attack as slow as 8 ticks or as fast as 2. And she didn't care. You couldn't protect against her melee or her ranged attacks because if you turned off protect from magic, she'd hit you for like a 700. Zuck talked to Venenatus and took notes. That's why Zuck hits so goddamn hard, because Venenatus was like, no, you got to make him suffer. Venenatus had a 9-tile melee attack. You guys know how fucked that is?
It's so bad.
To be 9 tiles away, the length of a T-bow away, and still get hit with a melee attack.
So bad.
Do you guys know how bad old Venenatus was?
Yeah, but you did so much.
It was...
Considering your hate
because
for
I
Vedion.
wasn't fighting the boss.
You what?
Because I wasn't fighting the boss.
Oh.
Vedion and Callisto wasn't bad, but the Callisto safe spot took 40 years to set up. That's why I didn't like Callisto. Well, you had to like drag Callisto into singles and then either drag it all the way north to like level 50 wilderness where there was no escape. If anyone jumped on you, you were dead. You weren't getting out. Or you had to drag it all the way south. And it took forever. Because if you fucked up even one tile of where you walked, Callisto was just like 80 right to the face.
Yeah.
And Callisto still had that knockback.
Yeah.
Where you would get knocked back like 8 tiles and you get hit for like a 70. Dude, the old wilderness bosses were so shitty. They were so bad.
Bad times had by all. They're better now. So this is not a complaint.
They are better now. So the
for the
Webweaver
new
bow is actually a feasible weapon to take to the wilderness.
Mhm.
Where else do you take a Webweaver bow, Michael?
I think you take it to Leviathan, from what I've heard.
Correct. You take it to Leviathan.
Is it just for the special
Take it to
attack at Leviathan?
You use the special attack at Leviathan during the tornado phase.
Okay.
Because you stand in the tornado at Leviathan and you dump a couple Webweaver specs in. They're guaranteed to have a max hit every time.
Nice.
So you kill Leviathan pretty quick. First time I killed Leviathan, the day the quest came out, I thought it was like a Verzik tornado. So I actually stayed out of it. And it wasn't until like later that night, someone with like 10 Leviathan Casey was like, dude, stand in the tornado. I'm like, you're boosting. I'm going to die. They're like, no, dude, that's what you're supposed to do. I'm like, are you serious? I thought it was
so bad.
When a tornado spawns on the field, dude, you got to admit, we don't have a good experience with like, oh yeah, stand in this environmental thing that just popped up. That shit's going to kill you. You can't lie to me. Turns out I was the dumb one.
It doesn't look like it's there to offer you any assistance.
No,
which
it's not.
is that's on
doesn't
Jagex.
look like it.
That's on Jagex.
But yeah, you should stand in the tornado at Leviathan.
Definitely. We have a couple more. The next one is another Wildy boss weapon, and it is the Ursine Chain Mace. And that's going to give you 2 times accuracy, 20 damage over 6 seconds, and it prevents running for 6 ticks while draining your agility. So this one really is kind of like a clapback weapon, not necessarily, you're not really going to use it. You could definitely use it like to spec out, Calvarion, if that's what you're doing. But this is more of like a clapback. If you're getting attacked and they attacked you first and you're not at risk for scalding, maybe you special attack them and it lands and then they can't run. And you have 6 ticks to kind of get ahead. That could be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I kind of want to point this out. Most of I think Oxie said it, but most of actually all 3 of the upgraded Wildy weapons are actually really good just in their own right to kind of just like, if you're getting attacked and you don't mind dying and you just want to, you're not going to be running away, they're pretty good against PKers. This is not Michael endorsing any sort of like stay or die kind of thing, but
this is Oxie endorsing it. Michael can sit the fuck down like the PK you're about to kill. Oxie's fully endorsing it. Bring your Ursine Chain Mace, bring your Cursed Scepter, bring your Webweaver bow. You know what else you're going to bring? You're going to bring 50 Dragonstone Bolts E, the Runite variant, not the Dragon variant, and you're going to bring a Rune Crossbow. And if a motherfucker wants to try it, you're going to put that Rune Crossbow on and you're going to shoot back. And if they're dumb enough to get too close to you, you're going to hit them with the whing of the Ursine Chain Mace or the do or the of the Cursed Scepter. You'll watch the fear in this man's eyes. He's going to put up smite and try to slap his dick on the table. When you hit him for an 80 with the accursed scepter, he's going to run back with a tail between his legs.
Yeah.
And you know what you're going to do? You're going to chase his ass down with bolts. Because nobody fucks with you in the wilderness. Nobody fucks with you. Shoot back, goddammit. Shoot back.
If you're not going to skull up. If they attack you first.
Oxie info unclear. Brought all 3 weapons plus an RCB. See, my bingo team's about to flame me for this one.
Yeah, if you're not going to be risking it, that's always my fear, is that like somebody's going to log in underneath and I'm going to accidentally left click the wrong person. Like maybe it's just about getting the jitters out. Maybe you got to get those jad hands out of the way the first couple times you see somebody.
I got 3.6 build bank. I'll take all of you motherfuckers on it. I don't care. I'm going down. I'm going down swinging.
Don't you have like two items that make up a majority of that though? Like 2.8 bill of it is like 2 items.
2.8 of the 3.6 is the scythe and the T-roll. But still,
Weird flex, but okay. Yeah, that's the chain mace. It's really good. Like as a wieldy weapon.
Damage over time is real nice. It's real nice against, particularly Venenatus. It's really good against Ven.
Well, I haven't ever used the actual spec attack, but just in terms of like a wieldy weapon, I like the chain mace probably the most. But that also is me talking, having only really killed Calvarion in the wilderness.
So for reference, the chain mace is like 4.5 mil. Webweaver is 14 mil. I know we haven't really talked about prices. Webweaver is about 14.5. Chain mace is like 4.5. Osmumpton's Fang is like 20 something mil. And I want to say Ancient God Sword's 46 mil.
46 mil.
So that should cover it.
Is that the most important?
And the AGS.
Is that the most expensive God Sword? Or is Saradomin still? I think it is.
It might still be Saradomin, actually. No, actually, it is a Zaros God Sword. Yeah, look at that.
I think it's just
the AGS is also 11
like
mil, but
the most rare.
What you know about a free special attack weapon, Michael?
A free special attack? Don't you have to do a diary?
If you do the Western Provinces Hard Diary, you get access to the Crystal Halberd, the good old Chally.
Affectionately known as the Chally.
It's affectionately known as a Chally, baby. The Chally goes burr. It gives you a 10% damage boost. It can hit multiple targets. It can hit up to 10 targets. Up to 10 NPCs.
Targets?
You can stack up 10 targets and hit 10 of them with the Chally. But the Chally's main use is it gives you 2 hits against large monsters.
Which is really
good. So pretty much anything bigger than a 2x2 or a 3x3, it gives you 2 damage splats. The places the Chally is notably useful is at Corp and at Theater of Blood. The issue with the Chally, it's the same issue that the AGS has, right? The Chally is slow as...
Oh my gosh, it takes years to get that swing
off.
The
Chally is a 7-tick attack weapon. The Chally is slow as So the problem with the Crystal Halberd is you either are going to spec first and then not again, or you are going to spec to KO. And though on the wiki they describe with the Crystal Halberd, you want to spec when there's downtime, right? So you spec at Hespori with the Crystal Halberd. As Hespori opens up the flowers, because you got to shoot the flowers and you're good to go. You want to spec at Bloat for your last hit, right? Hit the Chally spec, turn and run, and you're good to go. You can Chally spec at Zarpus. You can Chally spec at any of the bosses, really. But there's a really slow cooldown time. Which I know 7 ticks.
It's 7 ticks. I was going to say, isn't it 10
7
ticks?
No. Oh, I don't know.
Feels like a long time.
I don't think there is a 10-tick weapon in the game.
Oh.
I don't even think... Yeah, no, I don't think... Because I think, like... I'm trying to think of, like, attack cycles. Like, I think... Zuck might be on a 10-tick timer. Jad might be on a 10-tick timer. Is Gauntlet on a 10-tick timer? Okay. Tiki says the Chally for the Gauntlet. It's not the same thing. The Crystal Halberd in the Gauntlet is not the same as the Crystal Halberd outside of the Gauntlet. The crystal halberd we're referring to is the one you can buy after completing the hard diary. And the special attack, if you're killing Corp, make sure the Chally is on stab. It's not a meme. Make sure it's on stab.
It's a slash weapon. Like it looks like you're slashing, but it definitely has a stab option, which I think, arguably, if it's set to stab, it should go stab stab. Like the special attack animation should change, but that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. It's free. Just do your diaries. It's really nice. 10% damage boosting, two hits against larger monsters, and it can hit multiple targets. I like the challenge.
What you know about another free special attack weapon? Sorry, did I say free? I meant to say what you know about the single most expensive special attack weapon in the game.
I was very confused. Because the Zaros crossbow. Is that
Zerite crossbow?
I'm gonna own one of these one day, so I should know its name. The ZCB, as everybody likes to call it, is it's not free. I guess if you girl math
Zerite
it's
crossbow
free.
is 473 mil. It is far and away the most expensive special attack.
But it's not really just for special attack though. Like that's like saying you go to McDonald's just for the atmosphere. You know, it's like no, it's a good weapon to have. But what it gets you with the ZCB is 2 times accuracy, and it's a guaranteed bolt proc hit. Bolt proc spec on hit. So if you actually do hit the boss, any sort of whatever special attack your bolts have, because that's another thing that's kind of unique, is if you enchant your bolts, they each kind of do new and interesting things individually, you know? Some are really high hitters, and some will siphon damage off of you, and you hit really high. So like, do your research on what the different bolts do. But if you have a ZCB, it can be really nice. So an example of that is at Muspa. If you have a ZCB at Muspa during the smite phase, if you send off a couple specs, you reduce Muspa's smite damage, pretty much guaranteed. So that's one way to use it. If you're using it with like Dragon Bolts Dragon Ruby Bolts, you can also hit really high. You go the a lot if you have your game sounds turned on. But yeah, it's a fun weapon to have. I used it for the first time last night at Nex, and I gotta say, very fun. But it would take the entire cash stack that I have to purchase it, and I guess just do more Nex, and maybe I'll pay myself back. But you know, I have friends that can lend it to me. Shout out to Fear Garden. ZCB,
the Zarite crossbow, the ZCB real good. ZCB, it has an exorbitant price tag. It's useful in a lot of places. It's the Dragon Claws of range, right? The ZCB will guarantee a bolt proc every single time, but the ZCB also has a passive effect that I think applies to all bolt procs, whether or not it's a spec. The ZCB has a 10% increase, I think. It strengthens the power of enchanted bolts by 10%.
Neat.
So let's talk about the ruby bolts, every time you attack.
Yeah. 110s.
Instead of hitting up to 100, you can hit a 110. So the ZCB has, I think, it's the single highest hitting weapon in the game. Other than those weapons that you can, the single highest hitting non-specific instance weapon. The 2 that come to mind that can hit higher are the weapons from A Soul's Bane and the Dawnbringer from Theater of Blood. If anyone knows of any weapons that can hit higher than 110 in a single hit splat in the normal game, let me know. Because I don't think anything can.
It would be the regular crossbow with Dragon Ruby bolts, but like it's probably the second highest besides ZCB.
Yeah.
So
Because the ZCB, ZCB is DDS on Slayer Task with Poison Proc is 114, a single hit splat. I think that's the differentiating bit. There are probably things that can hit higher. I know with a Chally, you can hit like the Chally is like a 78, 78. You can absolutely fuck shit up with a Chally.
that's capped at Corp, right? Because I've only ever hit like 50-50.
It might be capped at Corp, yeah.
Feels bad, man.
It's not capped at Bloat, let me tell you.
Oh.
He hit some numbers at Bloat. Holy shit, it's fun. But
I definitely will be buying a ZCB at some point. But for now, just gonna roll with maybe I'll do like the GE loan. I used to do that before the tax a lot, where if I was gonna do content and I didn't want to have like a commitment, I would just buy it from the GE and sell it back and like sometimes merch myself. But with the tax, that's a lot harder to do now. It's a lot harder because sometimes you don't always
Nate
profit.
Dogg said, he said ZCB with a red Karis. Okay, you got me there. So what's higher than a ZCB? A ZCB with a little bit of extra sauce on it. You know,
Nice.
that's what's stronger than a ZCB.
The
Dog, this episode's gonna be long, but we got a couple of them left. We got a couple spec weapons to get through.
I think we talked too much in the beginning. I think that was it. But we're here and we're
That's
here
fine.
now. And we have the miscellaneous category. That is it for the DPS. That's it for our most notable DPS special attack.
Are there other DPS? Oh yeah, we'll cover that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So in the miscellaneous category, you got four. You got four here. So
4 useful ones.
One of
Nate Dogg
That's
says,
true.
"Did we cover the dark bow?" No, we did not cover the dark bow.
I didn't think the
'Cause the
dark bow
dark
is
bow-
relevant in 2024. I mean,
It's a
kind
PK
of.
weapon, but it's extraordinarily slow. So it's the dark bow, same thing with the. Again, this is like we're not going to cover every single weapon because some of them do have more niche uses, right? Let's talk about like the heavy ballista and the dark bow, for example. They are very slow, but they can hit very hard. They're meant to be PK KO weapons, right? What is the reason that we didn't add it initially? We didn't think about it. But yeah, dark bow's a guaranteed hit, I'm pretty sure. Heavy ballista can hit like a truck. They both have like a 38,000 tick cooldown. So
It's a long time. And it's only if you have dragon arrows on the dark bow. So it's also
Mhm.
kind of a feels bad, man. But we're now moving on to the miscellaneous tier. And I sound like I'm in achievement of the week, but I'm not. This is still main title content. Miscellaneous, there's 4 of them. I think there is there's definitely a lot more, but these are the 4 most useful that Oxie could come up with. And I like it. I stand behind this. So first up, Din's Bulwark. Now, if you have tuned into this episode and that took you aback, well, you're about to learn something. The Din's
Michael
Bulwark.
is a door enjoyer.
I
He's
love
a
the door.
fanatic.
I am a door enthusiast, and I wasn't. Unfortunately, I never got the door in the last league, but I did go melee Corrend, so I could have been a door builder, and I actually had Mauritania as well, so we could have been a high defense door build. But that never happened, unfortunately. So I can think of one place where this shines. So the special attack, it hits up to 10 enemies in an 11 by 11 square radius. So huge. 11 tiles. Have you walked 11 tiles recently? It's massive.
It's like 11 tiles in all 4 of the cardinal directions, though.
Yeah.
Right?
So like 11 by 11 square. All of them. It's a lot.
There's a reason people use there's a reason they use the door in the Inferno, because you can hit every single target at the same time. Though all the targets in the Inferno are aggressive as it is. So you really only use the Justy Dinny B to kill the nibblers. If you're doing a Justy Cape.
I like that. I mean, it's got high defense too. So like, you know, if you wield it, you're generally going to be protected from a lot of damage. But the place where this shines And the reason we bring it up is for Slayer. Notably, if you are in a situation where you want to aggro a lot of enemies all at once, you could do that with this weapon. And sometimes it's more convenient to do that if you're trying to AFK than to spend money on cannonballs. Because if there's one thing I know, cannonballs make Slayer go quickly because it takes all of the enemies in your general vicinity and it kind of brings them all to you. So you could do that for, melee Slayer, but if you're going to be barraging or bursting, then you can just aggro all the monsters at once without having to use darts. So it's very, very useful. I like to pair my Dinny Bee with a light bearer, and at 50% special attack, generally you do use it. Like you can kill, Dust Devils, Necreals. You kill them pretty quickly when you have a stack. So it can be a little bit of a cooldown period if you don't have a light bearer. But if you have the light bearer, generally you're not going without your special attack for all of the times that you are wanting to aggro those monsters together. So if you haven't tried it, I would definitely recommend doing some Slayer via your burst task, or even, like I said, AFK stuff. If you don't have a cannon, you don't want to spend money on a cannon, or you don't really care about the extra DPS, and you just want to be AFK.
Bro, cannon's way cheaper than a Din's Bulwark. If you don't want to spend money on a cannon, you don't want to buy a door.
Over time, though, I meant more so like you don't want to spend money on cannonballs. Cannonballs are not expensive, but if you just want to send a couple special attacks to aggro all the monsters in the area, Dinny Bee could be a nice alternative. And if you're going to have it for those times, maybe you're doing prayer training in the wilderness at the Chaos Altar. It's nice to have there because it also provides actual use outside of its special attack in certain cases. It can be good. And like Oxie said, if you're going for the Inferno, maybe it's a worthy investment for that as well.
So for reference, the Din's Bulwark is currently 20 mil. To spend as much money on a Din's Bulwark as you would on a cannon and cannonballs, you would spend about 800k on a cannon, and then you would buy 98,000 cannonballs.
Damn. Well, okay.
98,000 to rack up 20 mil.
Maybe that
Din's
was a
Bulwark
silly comparison, but definitely for
Din's
barrage.
Bulwark has two other notable uses outside of Slayer. If you want to be real picky, or you're going for combat achievements, or you're just really fighting for points because you want to be a trolly asshole, bring this to TOA and break out the door tech at Kefri. So all those little like shitter eggs that spawn, as soon as they spawn, you just clunk, you slam the door down, pop all the eggs.
Oh, okay.
Another good place to take this is if you don't have a third item, or you're looking to take a +1 with you. This item goes Burr in the Wilderness, period. This item is very good defensively in the Wilderness, but if you take it to Venenatis, you can spec and kill all the little spiderlings.
There you go.
So you don't have to worry about taking chins.
Yeah. It doesn't hit very high.
You should still take chins,
but
they only have like,
if they have a couple
they're
of HP,
guaranteed hit.
Yeah.
You'll max hit the eggs in Kefri, and I want to say you'll max hit the spiderlings too. So
at Zulrah? No, those are snakelings.
Yeah, I was like,
my bad.
Don't know if you should take the door to Zulrah, but
could you though? You have a bunch of snakelings around you?
But why would you want to with a Ring of Recoil or a Ring of Suffering?
Because it's 20 mil and you have 20 mil to spend? I don't know. Meta.
You can't. I don't think you can hurt Zulrah with a door. Could someone go to Zulrah right now with a door and see if you can hit Zulrah with the door spec? Someone go test that out for me. I want to see if you can hit Zulrah with a door spec. I don't have a door. I don't want to go kill Zulrah. Somebody go try that out. I don't know if that actually works. You like this next one. I know for sure you like this next one.
Do I? I've actually never really used this next one, which is a Saradomin Godsword. This is a classic. I think the SGS spec has been on everyone's radar since the start of Old School. Like they brought the God Wars dungeon back like pretty quickly after they released Old School, and it's been up there on people's like it's a good weapon to have, not for its attack, but for its special attack. And what that does is it gives you 50% hit points and 25% prayer of the damage you've dealt to the enemy. So if you're hitting a 30 with the special attack, you've given yourself 15 HP back, and whatever 25% of 30 is, 7.5, 8, I guess that's maybe rounded down, 7 hit points or 7 prayer. So it's basically free HP and free prayer. This was used in the Inferno as a strategy for a long time before there were other better metas to give you prayer and HP back. So yeah, a lot of people are like, if you bring an SGS into the Inferno, it's kind of a waste of inventory spot. Well, now it is. But if you're doing General Slayer, and these first two are kind of like AFK.
It's not really a wasted inventory slot in the Inferno. I want to say the Eldritch has the exact same Eldritch OSRS. I want to say the Eldritch Nightmare Staff. We didn't include this one. We didn't include any of the Nightmare Staff ones. The Eldritch consumes special attack for high amount of damage and restores just prayer by 50%. In general, prayer is what you're going to be lacking in the Inferno, which is part of the reason why people bring it, right? When you're in the Inferno, you have a blowpipe that restores prayer, and you have blood barrage that restores... Not blowpipe doesn't restore prayer. Blowpipe restores health.
Mm-hmm.
Blood barrage also restores health. Eldritch Nightmare Staff restores a shit ton of prayer. Because if you hit something for a 60, that's 30 prayer points back. And I'm not sure... Invocate can boost the caster's prayer points above their prayer level, just like the Ancient Mace.
Mm.
To a maximum of 120. Eldritch is currently sitting at let me see what the Eldritch Orb is sitting at right now. Probably several hundred mil, 305 mil. Why is the Nightmare Staff 44 mil? Can someone tell me why the Nightmare Staff has doubled in price over the last year? That's whack. But yeah, so you can
maybe not.
You can hit pretty hard.
Being banned. It's usually the case.
My thing with the SGS in the Inferno has always been, it's not that it's bad, is that I don't want to get close enough to any of those NPCs to use it.
Yeah,
because like they'll just like bop. The Ranger will punch you, the Blob will punch you, the Major will bite you, and they'll hit you hard. They still have like the same max hits that you're protecting against. Jad'll bite you. Jad'll bite you for like 110.
Oof.
And I think Jad is on an 8-tick cycle. Unless he melees you, then his melee is a 7-tick cycle.
So weird.
So not that you'd be SGSing at Jad necessarily, especially at triples, but SGS Inferno has never been my game, but I know some people with capes who did take an SGS. So it's not a waste of an inventory spot. There's just better, albeit more expensive stuff you can take.
Sure. So it really shines if you're trying to just kind of relax and you don't have Guthins and you don't want to take prayer potions.
You know where the SGS fucks? DKs.
Oh.
SGS goes hard at DKs.
That's good. Yeah, because that's one of those places where it's really annoying to resupply and you don't really want to leave. Mm-hmm. So longer trips are like preferred. Yeah. I've not used this.
Is also 22 mil, 23 mil.
That's pretty affordable. I mean, I remember back whenever in its prime, I think it was like 50 or 60 mil. So definitely a discount off its prime number. I've not used this next one, so I'm going to let Oxie take it away.
I've used this next one for clues, and that's literally it. The ZGS, the Zamorak Godsword. This weapon, the special attack will freeze the target for 32 ticks, which is the exact same amount of time Ice Barrage freezes them for. This is a mostly useless special attack. It doesn't do a whole lot of increased damage. It still has the 6-tick attack speed. This has the only use I can think of for the ZGS is what's that boss called? Mutadial.
Oh, I have used it then. Never mind.
Because you can freeze the Muta, you can freeze Big Muta, and now with the changes to Chambers, you can freeze Muta. She won't attack you because she'll be going for the tree, and you can beat the shit out of her. The changes they made to Chambers at Muta is godsend. It's so nice. It's so nice. The changes they made. Because old CM Muta, man, Zuck took lessons from old CM Muta. Old CM Muta, you'd have your prayer up and it'd go, hey, you've been hit a 70 through prayer? That's an over-exaggeration. But CM Muta sucked. CM Muta was... I didn't even do a whole lot of CMs pre-rework. And Jesus
you
Christ.
Still know.
Bro, Muta harder than Ohm sometimes.
Damn.
It's the last room in a CM. So it's just super demotivating to do really well the entire raid. And then, you walk up to Muta or you walk even in the same room and suddenly you're like, I'm joking. And you just can't eat fast enough. And you're just dead. You lose all those points. You mess up whatever speed time you're going for. CM Muta was rough, but with the new changes, the ZGS is really good at Chambers. It's miscellaneous because it really only has the one use at Chambers, which is to ice barrage enemies. Because I don't know, you can melee Muta if you're not a bitch about it. There might be something under there for you. There's only one way to find out. There's no way she'll chomp twice. This is why it's in miscellaneous, because it's the only place I could think to use it. And we got to talk about all 5 God Swords.
True.
Surely we got to talk about all 5 of them.
I guess if there's a situation where you did want to freeze an enemy, but you didn't want to be on Ancients, it could have a use. But you have to get close. And generally, if you're going to freeze something, it means you don't want to be close. So it's kind of a trade-off.
It's really weird. It's for some reason, the other 3 God Swords, they're it's the picture of the horse, where it's broken up in 4 different categories. And the first couple of pages are the horse that's on fire and it's really well made. And then the ZGS is the one that's drawn in crayon, Yeah. You guys know the meme I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's the God Swords. For some reason with the ZGS, they're what if we just didn't give a shit? But I think back in the day, people use this because PKing was so much simpler back then.
Yeah.
If you get your hands on a Zamorak God Sword, you just main hand that bitch.
Yeah.
You freeze them, you run away, you eat up, you go back to smacking them with the ZGS. I understand it was a little bit more primitive as a PvP weapon back then, but nowadays it's clue scroll stash unit fodder, but also pretty good against Muta. And the ZGS will run you a not very cheap. Holy shit! The ZGS is 27 mil.
That's insane, actually.
You out here telling me the Zamorak God Sword that we just shit talked is the second most expensive God Sword in the game? Fierce says it's very good at Muta. Clearly.
Wow.
Holy shit.
I guess the changes that you talked about with the Chambers quality of life, that it really did make that much of a difference. Because I remember ZGS
if you guys
was 9 mil. It's insane.
Dude, ZGS was cheap as ZGS was my first ever expensive unique that I ever got. My first ever one I was with Link way back in the day. Before our first ever bingo. That's how long ago that was. And I got a ZGS and I want to say the hilt was 6 mil.
Dang.
Back then. So for me, my perception of ZGS, that bitch always cheap. It's 27.3 mil. That's wild. If you plan on doing Chambers, if you plan on doing CMs, if you plan on doing solos, if you plan on doing team Chambers, it would be good for somebody to have this weapon. Not everybody needs it. The ZGS is not like the Dragon Warhammer, where multiple hammer hits are important in a raid. Just one of you has to have this.
Yeah.
So if you're a little bit more strapped for cash, this should not be high on your priority list. If you're pretty well off, looking to get more niche items, get a ZGS for Chambers, because you might need to bring the guy that you might need to be the guy that brings it.
Yeah.
Right.
True.
27 mil, dude. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Before,
why don't you take us home? You got to take us home
I will
with these next
bring us
three, because
home.
this shit's right up your alley, baby.
Yeah, I mean, you max and people call you a skiller for some reason. I'm a PVMer, Oxie. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know about all that.
Dragon.
I don't know about all that.
Don't do that. Dragon tools, and by tools we mean the dragon axe, the dragon pickaxe, and the dragon harpoon. I wouldn't call a harpoon a tool, but you know, I digress. Dragon tools have
What would you call it?
a piece of equipment.
Dragon
Fishing-
equipment?
Sure, dragon equipment.
But these are all tools. They're all skilling items.
But like you think of a tool, you think of
Oh,
like a
so-
hammer, a saw, an axe, a pickaxe. Not a harpoon, not a fishing.
A harpoon is a tool you use to catch fish.
Okay. It's the wrong point to be making. Dragon tools in general.
It's midnight. And we're arguing semantics. You can tell Michael and I are like, we might have to do the second half of this episode tomorrow. You never know.
You might see us with an outfit change. Who knows?
Maybe.
Dragon tools give you a +3 boost to that respective skill. So fishing, woodcutting, and mining. So pretty self-explanatory. If you're 93 mining, boost you up to 96. Now, visible boosts past 99 do not do anything. So if you're 99 mining and you're like AFKing stars for some reason, or if you're doing volcanic mine, it doesn't matter. Just realize it doesn't matter. I still spec a volcanic mine because I think it's muscle memory at this point. Smashing. It doesn't matter.
Sometimes you gotta hit him with a smashing.
I do it.
Sometimes
I do it to
you gotta hit
remind
him with the
everyone.
here fishy. Sometimes.
Chop chop.
Sometimes you gotta hit him with the chop for the drop.
Chop chop.
Right.
Drop. So
Doesn't matter what the situation is. Right? Chop for the drop, baby.
is that a bingo inside joke?
You goddamn right. That's a bingo inside joke. Shout out to C4 for that one.
It's a good one. So yeah, if you have,
you know you're cooked when you're bringing the dragon axe to corp. Let me tell you.
Oh no. They're all fairly inexpensive. I think dragon pickaxe was like below $1 million recently. For some reason, I have no idea. Dragon harpoon.
The dragon pickaxe was like It's 940K right now.
Oh, how much is the dragon harpoon? Because
Yeah.
I don't have the ability to look it up.
The dragon harpoon is 1.7 mil, and the dragon axe, like I said,
57K
burning a
or
hole in
something.
your pocket at 57K exactly. Yeah,
Wow. Okay. That was a complete
it's
guess.
literally 57,014 GP. Yeah,
That was a
It's-
complete
yeah.
guess. I'm not kidding. Wow. Okay, so for under 3 mil, all in, you're gonna get all 3 of these dragon weapons, and that's a pretty good steal if you ask me.
Yeah, and if you want to spend a little bit more money, and you want to, don't do that, Nate. I swear to God, don't say rip corrupted recording. Don't do that.
Luckily, internet does not affect my Streamlabs
Hardware.
Yeah.
If you want to spend a little bit more money, you can get a smoldering stone, and the infernal variants of these tools have the same special attack. So if you
Yeah.
have an infernal harpoon or an infernal axe, don't get an infernal pickaxe.
Please don't.
Don't do it. The infernal pickaxe is useful in leagues, and that's literally it. The infernal pickaxe has a chance to like smelt the ore into the bar, but you don't mine raw ore anymore.
I died.
3T4D, 3T4G. Does it burn the granite? Is that what it's good
That's
for?
kind of nice.
Yes. Well,
There's niche uses.
okay. If you want to sweat your balls off, you can buy that. But
The only
if you want
caveat,
to spend even more money, you can get the crystal variants, and the crystal variants are. I just bought a crystal tool. See, that bitch is like 20 mil. That's too much.
The only caveat to the smoldering stone tack is once it runs out, you either have to put another stone in it or you have to put another of the item. So really, the only one that it's like truly affordable is once you buy the stone, put it on your dragon axe for wood cutting, and then once it's done, you just put another axe on there. Don't put another smoldering stone in it. Now, there were times...
Said, though.
Go ahead.
If you run in a lot of Temporos, the Infernal Harpoon goes burr.
Yeah, true.
We're getting a little off track from the special attacks of these weapons,
yeah,
but the special attacks are fairly straightforward. But if you're using an Infernal Harpoon at Temp, it's good shit. You don't need an Infernal Harpoon for like barbarian fishing or 3-tick fishing or anything like that. 2-tick swordfish. It's real good at Temporos for points.
Nice. Yeah. That, my friends, is going to do it for this list. You made it. We're here at the end.
Yeah, we managed to make it through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 special attack weapons.
Wow.
If you guys are endgame players, obviously you know what these things are, but this is more aimed at folks who, after last week, might be saying, I don't know what to spend more money on. I've got this money sitting around, and I have most of the stuff you guys talked about. What special attack weapons should you get? Special attack weapons have a lot of specific horizontal uses, like we talked about earlier when we were bitching about the Void Waker. It's not bad to own any of these other than maybe the Abyssal Dagger. Probably the only one I just genuinely wouldn't buy is the Abyssal Dagger. But I did want to bring it up because of the misconception that it's more expensive, so it's better than the DDS. It's not. It's objectively, statistically worse than the DDS.
Yeah. It's good for strength
but
training.
There is really not a bad... Yeah, it's good for strength training, but there's other ways to train strength that don't cost that much money.
Yeah, true.
You
Very
know?
true. Did we ever say how much it was? I can't remember.
It's 2.7. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. I mean, it's probably the cheapest strength training weapon you can get for a 4-tick attack speed. The cudgel might be a little bit cheaper, but it's not going to hit as hard. For a special attack weapon, it's absolutely not worth it for the Abyssal Dagger. Sarah Sword's a good go-to for strength training as well. Really consider some of these things. Listen back to the episode if you want stat reduction, if you want TPS. Spec weapons are going to be as cheap as, I think, the Bone Daggies, like 1,000 GP. Bone Dagger P++ is 7,600 GP. So you can spend 7,600 or 473 mil. You got all sorts of price ranges for special attack weapons. If we didn't cover your favorite, tell us about it, because people in the Xpwaste chat will probably want to hear. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to toss them in the Xpwaste chat. Feel free to toss them in the gear setups. We have a gear. What's this channel called? Gear setups. It's literally gear setups and recommendations. This channel is going off all the time of people asking what to bring to various pieces of content. Again, from, hey, how do I do barrows, up to what equipment do I bring for the Leviathan speed run, right? People are covering all the time. We get a lot of questions about the Inferno in there too. Talk about your favorite special attack weapon in the Xpwaste chat or in that bit of the Discord, because I'm sure people are going to be interested in knowing if we didn't cover your favorite today. We're going to go to break, but it's also midnight. So there's like a 50% chance Michael and I are wearing something different. He and I might get on some of that. Me. We might get on some of that as my coworker put honk shoe shit. Before we get back to the show. Well, folks, Michael's internet is on a time bomb. That's why you saw that little technical difficulties bit there. So we're going to go to break and see if we can't get that sorted soon. And like I said, if we can't get it sorted soon, we're just going to go to bed and do the second half eventually. We'll figure it out. Who knows? We'll figure something out. We're going to go to break. We'll see you guys very, very soon.
Why, hello there, adventurer. My name's Razalo, and I've traveled all over this here continent collecting treasures that I think you.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you an important safety announcement. Attention. This is a message from the Gillinor Protection Agency. Do not fall asleep. A supernatural anomaly has escaped from its containment site in eastern Mauritania. It is incredibly hostile and will strike if given the opportunity. It has been known to attack its victims through the dreams, causing intense and violent sleepwalking that often results in the victim's death. Do not fall asleep. Over 1,200 individuals have been reported missing since the breach, and that number is estimated to increase exponentially over the coming days. Sleepwalkers have been reported in Canifis and in the northern coast of Mauritania, heading towards Port Phasimatis. If you are within the immediate vicinity of the breach, please seek shelter and await further instructions. Do not fall asleep. The Gillinor Protection Agency thanks you for your cooperation. Do not fall asleep. You will now be returned to your regularly scheduled broadcast.
So why don't you come on down and see for yourself? I promise you won't be disappointed.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that outfit change because I know that I sure did. I almost said if you're new around here, but you're not new around here. You've been here for the last like 2 odd hours. Michael and I, however, it's Monday night, so Michael and I have not. We've had some time apart, you know, because we finished up that first segment at midnight. But it's the second segment now, and it's Monday night at 8:41, and it's Patreon time. So we're just going to get right into it. It's been like 8 minutes since March has started, and we already have 2 brand new patrons this month and this week. So huge shout out to Big Bad Ape and Romana C. Shout out to you guys. Thank you for joining the Wise Old Man tier. You hop in the Discord, hang out in the recording booth chat, and chat with us in there and antagonize Michael and tell me how handsome I look, because that's always how the recording booth chat goes. There's nobody here in the recording booth chat because we didn't announce that we were doing this again.
Yeah.
So it's like the good old days of Michael and I on like a private Discord call. So there's no one to make fun of me for that dumbass comment. So joke's on your recording booth. But as always with the Patreon section, we are going to shout out the King Black Dragon tier. These guys are the tier that support us at the highest level possible for no other reason than they want to. Like, this is a flex tier. And boy, they're getting them guns a-pumping. Which, speaking of guns, I have, like, shell casing burns on my neck.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we all lined up and did a mag dump because I was with like 10 other white guys, and we're like, that'll be fun. Some guy hit a dirt bike jump. It was super cool. But the empty shells flew out of the firearms and like got caught in my hoodie, and they're hot. So I have like 3 really like almost like weird hickey looking marks on my neck. And I had to sit all day with those talking to clients.
Oh, no.
And so, yeah, flexing their guns. Guns are dangerous. Anyways, huge shout out to Apathy, Boston, Brooks 70. Chaos's Excel services. He said he wanted to add a time since last level on the maxing calculator. And boy,
cool.
that's gonna be embarrassing, but cool. But cool. Speaking of embarrassing but cool, my dad. Hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad.
Man made it his life's work to embarrass me throughout high school. Life's work at every possible opportunity.
Wouldn't have it any
It's
other way.
fantastic. In hindsight, it was fantastic. I'm gonna do the exact same thing to my kids. But damn. Cloud Kicker, Damon S, Dicky Bird, Elite Oreo Dunker, Gumby, my boy HMZ Bot. I'm swole for a mutated blood veld. Me too, brother. Me too.
Damn.
Empty Birchfield, Oxie the King of Green Beans 666. Now he's a liar. That's cool. Prof Slayer, our third favorite supporter, Ralph, who I think somebody asked earlier where that comes from. That was like an inside joke that Ralph and I had like years ago before I even met Michael. He would always call me his third favorite streamer. So that's just kind of how we started introducing him. Run Metal 15, Rylithian, Sandwich Ladies Meat Pie. Hey, yo.
What?
Clapscape. Hey, yo. Soggy Waffles, Seppi J. See, you did this, Michael. You told them you
I
can
know.
change your name to whatever they wanted. It's only going to get worse from here.
Join the KBD tier. Change whatever you want. Every week.
Oh. Sparky Life 93, the Big G Jordy, and the Crayola Tallymorn. Thank you guys so much for your unwavering, unconditional, and at times unethical support of our show. We really do appreciate you more than words can describe. And I mean that because I really don't have the words to describe how much we do appreciate you guys. If you want to support us for as low as free, though understand you get nothing, you can follow our Patreon page, or you can support from $1 a month. I'm not your mom. Do that. Don't do that. But if you want to do that, you can head over to patreon.com/Xpwaste to get the support train a-rolling. Now, I do believe, with plugs out of the way, speaking of almost having plugs out of the way, did we draw the giveaway yet, Michael?
We have not drawn the giveaway yet.
Awesome. Are we doing that this episode, or are we doing that in the Discord?
Okay, so my plan was to do it in Discord and then just reply to the comment of the person who won. But then like announce it. We can announce it next week.
Yeah. Maybe
we'll
we'll
draw
announce it.
We'll draw it like
Maybe we'll announce it the day this episode comes out. Who knows?
We'll draw it on
We'll
Thursday.
see what Michael and I remember.
Give people time.
We'll see what Michael and I remember to do, but we don't have the winner just yet. So yeah. You might still have time to comment if you're one of those guys who listens like at 2 a.m. when the episode comes out. You might still have time to go comment and enter for a Neive plushie. Who knows? Yeah, go do that. I'm done promoting. Michael, it's community question time. Yes?
It is.
Very
It is
nice.
community question time. This is Michael reminding editing Oxie to put the wise old man's picture on the screen.
Ah, shit. Yeah, those have been up there for at some point. 'Cause let me tell you, editing Oxie after like 400 clients, 100% would have forgotten.
Yeah, got you, baby. Got you. It is community question time. And we're going to be answering. You guys have answered the question from last week that basically said, what were your gear upgrades and what did you spend your 100 mil on and why? So if you were here from last week's episode, we asked you guys that question based on the main title content. We just want to know, what are you buying? So we can start on our Spotify replies here. George says, 100 mil is almost half my bank. So literally any top tier weapon, so I don't have to keep juggling them. For example, selling a DHCB to buy a set of bandos. Damn. Yeah, I remember those days. I definitely would use the GE as a loaning service. It only got worse after the tax. Not fun. Moist Sean says, I'm just going to buy a twisted bow so I can do the Inferno. Really? That's all it takes? Sign me up, baby.
What's he getting?
He says he's going to buy a twisted bow so he could do the Inferno.
Oh, nice. Maybe he's only 100 mil away.
Maybe. I wish I was only 100 mil away. Next up.
You are. You're exactly 100 mil away.
Listen, I'm not emptying the bank of every single item. There's like a
Just
stack
saying.
of 2,500 marks of grace that I'm not selling. There's like 3 or 4,000 golden nuggets I'm not selling. Like that gets calculated into the bank value. You're just saying, but you shouldn't be saying anything. Next up, we have DJ. Next on my list will be either melee or magic upgrades. If I go the melee route, I think the next are the Prims and an Avernic. If I go the magic route, I'm thinking either Virtus or a Sang Staff.
No. Stop it. What weapons are you missing?
That's the better question, I guess.
Avernic and Prims are minute upgrades compared to the Dragon Defender and the Dragon Boots.
Yeah.
Do you have a Zenite, a Torture? Do you have Bandos? Do you have any weapon that you could want? A Fang, a Lance? Think about it before you buy the J's.
Yeah.
And
especially the Avernic.
Because you can't get the Avernic money back.
No, it's permanent. Literally, like, it is a permanent upgrade. You would either have to drop it or alch it. Can you alch your Avernic? I don't think you can.
Yeah, for like 2 point something million. Yeah.
Okay. Well, don't do that. DJ, let us know. Let us know what you're doing. Next up, Concho said, I think I said your name right. They said, always need an AGS for some reason. For some reason, I don't know. Like, maybe you're just like randomly in the wilderness and you just think, oh, some reason I'm here.
There's a clip of me hitting an AGS spec somewhere on Twitch.
Oh, nice.
From way back in the day, I hit the AGS spec while live.
Did it land?
I didn't have a sword in my hand, but
like IRL. I thought you meant in
like
game.
IRL, yeah.
See, it's like the spinny. The whoosh.
Oh yeah, no, I gave it the old college try. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Maybe I'll find the clip and put it in right here if I find it from way back in the day. But anyways, continue.
What a beautiful clip. I loved that. Next up, we have Sizeman15. I think I'm saying your name right. Or maybe it's Psyman.
Isn't it Fizzman?
Fizzman15. They're going to get 99 construction.
How do you spell that again?
Oh, it's PHYSMAN.
Fizzman. Okay.
Fizzman.
I thought so. You've gotten that wrong every week for like a year, it seems like.
Then am I really wrong at that point? Who knows? Sizeman15 says they're going to get 99 construction, 99 smithing, 99 fletching. # Iron Life. Hell yeah. I mean, like if you can get all of those for less than 100 mil, that's really good. It's going to take you 16,000 hours to do all the buyable versions of that. How do you buy smithing as an Iron Man? I guess you buy gold ore from Blast Furnace. Interesting.
Yeah, you buy gold ore.
Yeah, it's definitely going to take you a long time. Oof. I do not envy you. But next up we have KarateMon52. They say my 100 mil is Prims, Bandos top and bottom, Torture, and a Bludgeon. If that's over 100 mil, swap a Torture for a Fury. And with that gear, I would be going for Sarachnis kills. Being mobile only has pros and cons. Ain't that the truth? Sarachnis is pretty easy on mobile. I would add KarateMon. Throw in a Ring of Stone. You'll thank me later. DRabbit17 says, I would go for full Zenite set, Lightbearer, and the Elidness Ward. The only items I don't have from the list. Great episode. Confirms I'm on the correct progress track. Hell yeah, brother. D-Rabbit. Glad we could help. Dinosaur says, Magus Ring. I bought one last night, and it's an absolute game changer with max range and TOA. 60 plus-ish accuracy, and +4 max hits with the Shadow has turned Kefri and Baba into magic-only rooms. Oh my goodness. We know that pets are not an achievement, and this is not to steal any of Oxie's thunder, but I believe Dinosaur is the one who just basically did nothing but TOA, and he finally got the pet. I think it was 797 expert mode completions for the Temekin's Guardian. So they do know what they're talking about. But I imagine all of that TOA, you have enough money to buy 5 Magus rings. Hopefully. Next up, Oxie Be My Boo 666 says, I would use it to get a lance and a Bandos set. Maybe a Basilisk's jaw, or use it to rent Oxie for an hour. Kissy face, winky face, winky face, kissy face. Oxie, I feel like there's something between y'all. But the green bean comment has me very confused.
The only thing between us is the fact that 100 mil might not be enough. But you know what? We'll see what we can do. We'll see if we can drum up.
But the green bean comment, I don't know. Like, I'm getting mixed
That's why 100
signals.
mil is not going to be enough.
Oh, I see. Okay. Next up, Nate Dog says, I just bought claws with my Venator ring money, specifically because I was doing CMs and I felt bad for not having a spec weapon for Vasa crystals. Listen, Nate, I don't think you should ever buy gear because you feel bad. You should buy gear because you want to. That's just my hot take, okay? Brooks70 says mole slippers because mole slippers are best in slot. Well, you can buy a lot of mole slippers with 100 mil. So hopefully you're buying other best in slot items. Next up, D Falconer says, I coincidentally have 100 mil cash stack and currently have all of these items already, saving for my first mega weapon. Hell yeah, dude. Save up. Get that mega weapon. What's the weapon going to be? That's my question. Is it going to be a T-bow, a scythe, or a shadow? If I'm thinking about myself personally and the content that I think I would enjoy, I feel like I would go with a shadow over a T-bow.
You'd have a lot of fun with the shadow, I think.
Yeah, I think I would too. Because I can bear chambers and I can bear. No, I'm not going to finish that sentence. Tallymorn, finally.
What can you bear?
I'm not going to finish that sentence.
Oh,
because I was going to say I can bear chambers and I can bear TOA, but I can't bear top. I don't know. I can do top. Maybe I like a scythe. Huh? You need to calm down. Finally, our last reply on Spotify. Tallymorn says, if I could add my current cash stack to the 100 mil, I'd get an enhanced for sure. If not, I get a BGS, Dragon Warhammer, Blowpipe, and BCP. With the state of my account, defense lowering items seem beneficial, and screw RCB and torso. Hey, this is a perfect episode for you. So I hope you took some notes, Tallymorn. Because this whole episode was for you specifically. Well, we don't have a pinned comment on YouTube. And
good golly God.
Yeah, I think all of these
I
think all of these are people talking about their favorite Slayer task, which you should not be commenting on this video. Oh, damn. Well, I don't have time to sift through all these, so that's going to do it for the community question. Thank you so much to everyone who did answer, and let us know what you're going to be buying with your 100 mil. If you want to answer this week's question, it will be, what is your favorite niche spec weapon? What is the spec weapon you have that you only use like 1 or 2 places? And maybe if it isn't on our list, why do you think we should have added it? That's a big question. Basically just saying, what's your favorite niche spec weapon? You can answer that question on the community question section on Spotify or the pinned comment of this YouTube video, because there will be a pinned comment. Oxie's ready to say something.
Swing, 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 swing. That's my favorite one right there.
Dragon Claws?
Talk about old reliable good time. Dragon Claws is the funnest weapon in the game. I love Dragon Claws.
Nice.
So in hindsight, I have not been able to find the video of me hitting the AGS spec. There's lots of videos of me shaking my ass though.
We could monetize that.
So We might be able to. There's some cool stuff too. There's like our first like TOA completions in there. That's fun.
In where?
On my old like Twitch channel.
Oh, your Twitch channel. Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we streamed.
Well,
did you stream that first day?
Oh yeah. I was live for hours and I had our very first 0 invocation completion.
Hell yeah.
It's very fun, very exciting. But you know.
That's unfortunate. Oh well. It's there somewhere. Maybe we gotta find it. Anyway, I'm gonna throw it over to my dashingly handsome, if he would cut his hair, co-host Oxie. I'm just kidding.
I have yet to find a good barber yet, okay?
Oh, right. You move
Relax.
and suddenly can't go to
I'm
Great
in a
Clips
new
anymore.
city. Bro, last time I went to Great Clips, they gave me the what if I just got some kitchen scissors and cut in whatever direction I feel like.
Oh,
look. So
no.
no, I ain't going back to no fucking Great Clips.
I stand by Great Clips.
I did for a really long time. Not anymore. Not
It's a new
anymore.
city, Oxy. Maybe you can try it again. Just this once. They got a lot to work with. Anyway, I'm going to throw it over to my dashingly handsome, even if he doesn't get a haircut, a co-host, Oxy.
That's what I thought.
Oxymoron.
Rat. Looking through all those old Twitch videos, I have discovered that you do pack on the pounds as the years go on. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. I do.
Oh, okay.
Specifically. Because I'm watching myself from like 4 years ago
Bro,
on Twitch.
That's just life.
Clips from like 2019 and shit. It's wild.
Just life, man.
But, you know, that's what happens when you stop walking 7 miles a day playing Pokemon Go like I used to do. What can you do? Anyways, it's achievement of the week time. Rosgan just got 99 fire making in the clan chat. But I don't have achievement of the week done through today. I have it done through yesterday. So if you achieve something on Monday, I'm just going to put it in the next episode. So
Okay.
Roz, you're going to get the double shout out. The only reason why I'm shouting you out this week is because it's literally right in front of me. Just saw it in the CC. So GZ. In the spirit of skilling, though, over this last week, Saga 7 achieved 99 Slayer. Fumble Swing achieved 99 Herblore. Ava X, my old bingo teammate, achieved 99 Slayer. Jay Goose achieved 99 Mage. Flagrant Beef achieved 99 hit points. The Famous Dude achieved 99 crafting. Rosgan, again, achieved 99 mining.
Wow.
You got to talk about people living your dreams right in front of your eyes.
You know what's funny about that? We were at Nex and he was in VC and he just popped it. Like, didn't have a sit down party, didn't tell anyone so that we could like leave and go celebrate with him. I'm like, did those 300 hours like not mean anything to you? Like, you did
Mining
all of that.
Deserves nothing.
No, dude, it's the one of the longest 99s. If you do it with the slow methods, obviously, you deserve
Mining
to have a
deserves
celebration.
It deserves all the credit Roz gave it. Nothing. A Frightened Couch achieved 99 hit points. Dean709, also one of my former bingo teammates many moons ago, achieved 99 Mage. And then Chris got 99 Cooking. We do have some total level achievements this week as well. Elvish J achieved 2100 total level. Nuff Nub achieved 2200 total level. And Doombar, after months of seeing the progress in the levels and achievements channel, has finally hit 2277 total level.
Yo,
Doombar has maxed his account. Once again, I'm disappointed. I was not able to be at the maxing party. I don't even think I was online. I guess I just missed it entirely. Doom, I apologize. Congratulations, big dog. You got 90. I think it was 99 thieving.
sounds about right.
Was the last one. Man did 97 to 98 in a day. And that's
easy
the
to
energy
do.
I'm trying to get. That's the energy I'm trying to get right here. When I get some of these skills to 98. Or 97 rather. Clearly not mining, but congratulations, Doom. You've maxed. Enjoy the Inferno, King. I'm so proud of you for hitting max total level. Speaking of the Inferno, let's touch on the combat achievements section this week. Pretty light. You guys aren't feeling particularly violent this week, but we do still have some. Lil B completed the gauntlet for the first time. Hyla got his master combat achievements done. And Habitat and Foolish Buana, both of them, received their first Infernal Capes.
Whoa.
Congratulations to the two of you.
Damn.
Yep. We got two Infernal Capes back to back. Not back to back, but like within the same stretch of days of one another. So we have two Infernal Capes. Very proud of you both, Foolish Buana and Habitat. You guys really can play the game. Enjoy skilling. I know for you two and for Doombar, just do something you want to do. Even if it's not playing RuneScape, just enjoy yourself because it's a big achievement.
Yeah.
To get that cape, it really is. I love watching when people put the progress in there too. Like I don't love watching it, but I love watching people get the cape after like I died to Jad again. Boom, 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 wow. And then boom, now I finally got the cape. That's super cool. Rounding out this week's achievement of the week is the miscellaneous category. We do have a quest cape. We do have our first quest cape. Bushfired got their quest cape for the first time. Congratulations. In addition, we have 3 diary capes with Mima, Clout9, and my teammate Shinkiro. All got their diary capes this week. Every single one of them. That's cool as hell. Diary cape's a cool cape. It's not like... It's useful, but like compared to like a max cape, you know? I feel like I only use it for like a couple of niche things. It's just cool.
Yeah.
The green and white looks cool. The emote looks cool. Having all the individual items to teleport with, me able to teleport from the cape, it's cool. The diary cape is cool. And the last achievement, we don't normally shout this out, but I don't think I've ever seen anyone in the clan do this before. And it really takes a special kind of sick son of a bitch to achieve this. The old J green logged trouble brewing.
What?
I don't know how or why. It took him like 100+ hours
My God.
to green log trouble brewing. But he did it. So congratulations to you for doing that. I realize my AC is on, so hopefully you guys can't hear that in the background. I apologize if you can. It was been like 75 all day today in March. So that is achievement of the week. If you did something awesome and you want us to shout it out next time on Xpwaste, head over to discord.gg/OSRSTNL. Post it in the levels and achievements channel. Doesn't matter what the achievement is. We don't care. We still love to see when you guys accomplish stuff like that. We're very proud of you. Post about your gym gains in the Gym Rats channel. Post about your pets. No one can say no to a good pets channel post. Come hang out. We're objectively the best RuneScape Discord in the world. Michael, my friend, as a part of objectively the best RuneScape Discord in the world, to finish this show out, do you have a fun question for us?
I do. I did want to clarify Doombar is not the PKer Doom. And I think that was...
I know that.
Well, I just want to clarify for those out there. Next time you see Doom the PK and you're like, hey, wait, you're not maxed. It's a different Doom. And it's so funny because they were both on the same bingo team last time. And Doombar changed his name to Doom, parentheses, not the PKer. So funny. But fun question time. We do have a fun question. This comes straight from our fun question section of the Discord, which if you're a Patreon member, you have access to. This one is from Dinosaur. He says...
Always fire questions from Dinosaur.
Always fire questions. Absolutely fire. He says, we have Dragon Bane weapons. We have Demon Bane weapons. And now we have Rat Bane weapons for Scurious. My fun question is this. If you could design a Bane weapon to fill a niche, what monster would it be? What monster would it be more effective against? And what combat style would it be? We've got some answers in the fun question section. I'll read those real quick. TMD says Giant Bane, which I think is fun. Soggy Waffle says, kind of hoping the next Goblin Quest introduces Bandos Bane or Orc Bane. That would be kind of cool. Shu says Troll Bane or Ogre Bane. And then Oxie posted he posted a gif of Sting with the glowing blue from Lord of the Rings, which I guess is what? Orc Bane? Sick. So yeah, if you could make a Bane weapon to fill a niche, what would it be? Do you want to go first?
Bane weapon to fill a niche. Why don't you go first this week?
Okay. I think. Oh, okay. Maybe I have a couple. Okay, literally any monster type, there is a niche that you could fill, right? But there are a lot of spiders in this game, and I think a spider bane would be kind of cool. But you could make it ranged, because there's not like a bane weapon that's specifically for the range combat style. Because we have, I mean, there's that, but I feel like the melee sector, I feel like there's already a lot of melee weapons, and generally when you're killing spiders, you don't want to be close to them. So, and that goes for in the game and in real life. So Spider Bane. So we got like Venenatus, the other one, Spindle, and Sorachnus. And I guess are there any small spiders that are worth killing that you would use a Bane weapon against?
There's lots of them.
I mean, there are, but worth it.
But there's one question that these lots of spiders hinges on the answer. Does this weapon work at Tob?
Oh. So the age-old question at Tob is,
because it could dramatically
crabs,
change,
right? Like they're crabs. But
no,
people call them crabs, but they're definitely spiders. And Verzik herself is a spider. I think they could. I think it would be interesting enough that it could work at Tob, but maybe have a reduced effect. Not this is the effect, but maybe it won't work against Verzik herself. Maybe it just works in the crabs room.
It would probably serve well enough to just work as it is, because unless this is a tier 90 weapon, it's not going to be more powerful than a scythe. But what it will do is provide something for people who don't have a scythe.
Okay, yeah. That would be my worry with designing this weapon, would be that it tanks the scythe again. The scythe has just been kind of kicked to the curb too many times in this game, that it's finally on its up and up era, and now I don't want to kick it back down. So yeah, Spider Bane. Whatever TMD said, Giant Bane. I think that one would also be a lot of fun. Not, simply for the fact that like you do tend to kill a lot of giants in the early game. You have fire giants, hill giants, regular giants, Obor, and then they could add more giant types as actual bosses. That would be kind of cool. I would love to see
Fire giant boss, ice giant boss.
Yeah. Something that's not free to play though. Like the idea with a fire giant and a moss giant boss, and I mean Briar Fight, it kind of is a moss giant, but yeah, fire giant and ice giant was like, ooh, make them free to play, but they don't have to be though. They don't have to be. What do you think?
If you think about it, wouldn't a Giant Bane weapon be perfect for free to play? Because we only have 2 free to play bosses, and giants are like a quintessential training method in free to play. Would a Giant Bane weapon being a free to play weapon really be out of pocket?
No, actually, because that's where you do kill a lot of giants. But I think the sweaty free to play nerds would have an aneurysm if they suddenly got a new. I know, that's my thought too, but like,
if you're a sweaty free to play nerd, you need therapy, not reading a RuneScape blog. I gotta love it with you. That's super judgmental of me, but I don't feel that bad.
It takes a special person to play free to play only, because that game mode is unplayable in my book. But
Free to play is
who do it.
horrible.
It's unplayable. But no, it would be fun. It would be really cool to have a free to play Giant Bane. So TND's onto something. I'll throw it over to you. Same question. What do you think?
I want like a God's Bane or like a religion Bane weapon. Maybe make 3 weapons, like the Apostate, the Oathbreaker, and the Heretic. Ranged mage and melee. And they excel at killing enemies with hyper-specific god alignments.
Ooh.
So like demons, for example, are aligned to Zamorak. But it wouldn't do much against the demon. It would do a lot against the Zamorak wizard. It would do a lot against Krill. You know, it wouldn't do as much against a goblin as it would against a spiritual warrior of Bandos. Right? Like, so it has some uses here and there. So like that could be fun.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it could work really well. The question is, when does this stop? If you have a God's Bane weapon, does this work at TOA because of the Menophyte Pantheon? Does this work at Chambers? Because Zarek could be very godly, you know? Like, obviously the weapon itself is designed around like the God Wars dungeon. And then with the prayers coming out, it could be fun to like, let's say you have the Heretic. It's a 2-handed melee weapon. You can attune it to the same God alignment prayers that you have. So let's say you attune it to Saradomin, and you can deal additional damage to Zamorak aligned enemies.
Oh.
You know?
It would be an interesting
complicated.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. It'd be kind of an interesting way to like make page syncs. Because like most time there is a Bane weapon. It requires charges.
Charge it with pages.
Charge it with pages, yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah. You don't get the charges back, but like you can add pages to the specific god that you are aligning it to. And then we get rid of a bunch of pages.
Or maybe they're all one-handed weapons, and that's how you equip it. The book now carries pages as charges.
Yeah, okay.
Like a Tome of Fire.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that better actually, because I was trying to rack my brain on how you would change your alignment midway through without having to like just yeet all the charges. But like if you had the Book of Darkness, you would then be attuning your weapon to Zaros. And and now that weapon is then drawing power from your Book of Darkness. And the book is now using pages as charges for your weapon.
We would almost have to make like God v God, like Saradomin versus Zamorak, obviously. But then we'd have to put Armadillo versus Bandos. And then we'd have to put Zaros versus Guthix. And then probably don't include the Menophyte Pantheon at all? Question mark?
It could
like
just
keep it simple with the 6 god books?
Yeah. Or they release more god books, you know? We have a couple more gods. I mean, we have Seren and we have Pantheon, but like I would say just keep it simple, and it's charged against, like if you're wielding a Book of Darkness, then you are stronger against Zaroshian monsters. If you're wielding the Book of Law or whatever it is, the Book of War.
That doesn't seem to make sense, because why if I have the symbol of Bandos, why do I kill Bandos allies better? Wouldn't I kill those that oppose Bandos allies better? But it also kind of gets in the way of God's Bane, right? If you're a heretic or an apostate, in theory, you wouldn't be wearing the symbols of another god.
Yeah.
It's an idea. I think it's got some merit. We just got to cook with it a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, they could introduce a second quest. Horror from the Deep is the one you get the books, right? So then maybe there's a second, like a sequel to that quest. And now these books have become tainted in some way. Because you're right. If you are an apostate, you would want to reject that. So then maybe the books get altered and it's a separate item now. So you have to have the original book, and it has to be fully charged. Like, it has to be the book with the pages. And that's how you take this to a new NPC, and they somehow change the book.
They twist the words.
Yeah. Or like they slash the
but
cover.
then you need
or
to keep
something.
adding. You need to keep adding pages, right, to fuel the twisted words or whatever it is. That could work. That could work pretty well with just the 6. With the 6 books, that'd be cool as hell. They have to be one-handed weapons. So like, I don't know, the heretic's hand axe, the apostate magical staff, and the oathbreaker crossbow or something. Those could be cool.
Mm-hmm. I would like that a lot, actually. It'd be really cool. Maybe the blessings would also be interesting to use if you didn't want it to be a one-handed weapon. If you were able to like imbue the blessing, but that gets into a kind of a hairy thing where it's like you're now using a clue reward as an item requirement for a quest and not a quest reward. But again, the pages
come
are
in clues.
yeah.
The pages are so cheap, right?
That's true.
Pages used to be, dude, remember back, like, everyone laughs at the mole video. The Zamorak book was like $3 million back when I made that video. So that's why I have the Guthix book and not the Zamorak book, because it was too expensive. But now Zammy pages are what, like $50K, if that?
They're cheap, dude. They used to be such good money. Like,
Zammy pages
were over
are
$1 million each.
They're 6, 8, 4, and 3K respectively.
Zammy pages are 6K?
Yeah. The most expensive set is the Book of Darkness set at 45K.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It would definitely bring up the price initially. I think they would probably all pretty much even out based on their usefulness. Like, who's going to have a Guthix Bane, you know? There are some, maybe with like while Guthix sleeps, if that quest has any alignments to Guthix, it's called While Guthix Sleep. I don't know the lore behind that. Man, that would be fun. That would definitely, that's a great suggestion. And this is one of those moments where I'm like, dear God, Oxie, why are you not a game developer? Because I want that in the game right now. It's always happening.
I don't know how to code.
You don't have to be a. You don't know how. Oh my gosh. You don't have to know how to code. You don't have to know how to code to be a game designer.
You ever had a dream?
Shut up. I hope you edited that. Because
maybe.
Why you gotta do me dirty?
Sometimes it's funny. That's why.
That one was embarrassing. You don't have to know how to code to just think of good ideas. Like, there's people that will take your ideas and put them on paper, put them in the game. Man, you should compile all of the great fun question answers that you've had over the last 142 episodes. You should put them in a video.
Is this not episode 140?
This is 142. Yeah. I don't know where you were the last 2 weeks.
Not here, let me tell you.
But you should compile them all into a video and then submit that to Jagex as your resume. And then I can do it, and then you can feed me ideas, and I work for Jagex, so you can keep your day job.
No.
Okay. Well, it's worth a shot. It's always a no until you ask, right? Damn, I'm doing Slayer again.
100% of the shots you don't take.
240 more neck reels coming right up. Get out some stuff. I know. Crazy. Well, that's going to do it for the fun question. Thank you, Dinosaur, for always bringing the fire in the fun question section.
Absolutely.
If you guys have any, Bane with quotes, any sort of monster Bane weapons you can think of, post them in the Xpwaste chat or don't. It's up to you. You want to take us out?
That I am going to take us out. Yeah. That is it, folks. We have come to the end of this wonderful episode. Every link you'll ever need is in the description down below. Go give all that stuff a look. Socials, merch store, Discord, Patreon. Go do all that. You'll like it. You won't regret a single second of it. I can't guarantee that. You might. But you won't know till you try, right? Go check it out. We'll be back next week for our 3-year anniversary party. Send us some questions, stuff you'd like to get to know about us after 3 years. Because I know there's a lot of you guys who are still new to the show and still new to the community. So send some stuff our way, and we will figure out what we're doing for next week's episode next week, which also, coincidentally enough, is when we'll see you guys. Bye, everyone.
Bye.